The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
Look at that! Hogan knows it!
We're seeing what this guy is really made of. Why he is the greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this.
He's slammed it! I don't believe it! I don't believe it!
Oh, dropping a big leg. Over for the cover. It's over.
If I could say it and be honestly, it's not a tie. Hulk Hogan will be the Babe Ruth of wrestling if he never wrestled another day. Ric Flair won't be because he's in Hulk Hogan's shadow. But what's going to go down in the record books was Hulk Hogan was the greatest.
Yeah. It's a hell of a deal. She's Tuesday, and we couldn't be happier to have you tuned into our radio program, the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. I'll be damned. Today on the program ski, we're scheduled to talk with effing Hulk Hogan in studio. The Hulkster. Brother. He's got his own beer now. I think we brought this up a couple days ago, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Sure did. It's going to unite America. That's the goal of this beer.
Oh, for Christ's sake, you bet it will.
He said he's going to bring every part of America together, one beer at a time.
You know what? It
or if
makes
you got
sense.
a beer bong, like what, 3-4 beers at a time? How much do you pour into a beer bong? I'm not even sure.
That depends how long it is, but you can get a couple in there for sure.
I think we've all attempted to solve the world's problems over a couple of brewskis.
Absolutely.
He's got his own beer. But we got to be honest with you. We've heard that the man was also scheduled to make some local liquor store appearances this week to promote his new beer. But those appearances got canceled, and we don't know why.
So, if you were making plans to go out, because I know we ran down the list, I can't remember, last week maybe, and it's not going to happen. He said he's going to be running around town. We don't quite know where, so hopefully he'll tell us when he gets in here around 8:30 exactly where he's going to be and what he'll be doing. But Hulkamania will be running around the Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm. I can feel it already. He'll be running around somewheres. Yeah, 8:30, he's going to be popping by. Like Josh said, hopefully he'll let us know what he's doing, where he's headed. But, like I said, there were some liquor store appearances that got canceled. We're hoping there's nothing serious going on and we can have a nice visit today with Hulk. But we're not sure what's going on with the canceled appearances. Is Vincent Kennedy McMahon behind these cancellations? What other heel character is a likely suspect? I don't know. The Usos?
Earthquake?
Yeah, sure. The natural disasters.
But as far as we know, he is coming in, right, Dana?
Yes, that's what we've been told.
He's canceled everything but this appearance.
Wow.
Which makes me a little bit nervous. But I can tell you who's going to be very excited. My wife is insane. And she got a sub at work this morning so she could come in and meet Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
That's awesome.
She took a half day.
Yeah, I've never seen her this excited about anything. Like, our wedding day was I don't even know if it was a close second to what's going on here. The birth of her children, I don't know.
She loves the old 80s WWF days. She was raised on Hogan, Andre the Giant, Macho Man Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, Junkyard Dog, the whole works.
And when I told her last night, hey, we don't really know what's going on. A bunch of his appearances were canceled. I'm not sure if he's coming in. She was heartbroken. But now we find out that he probably will. You're not going to hear Ashley today. She has, unfortunately, she has to, I guess, make sure she stays 500 yards away from Hulk Hogan. He's got a restraining order against her.
And can you really blame the guy?
Yeah,
no, I
Ashley,
understand.
She's not feeling well.
I'm a little worried about what's going to happen with Janelle Klein, who will be in studio today, because last time we had an iconic wrestler and Ric Flair in studio, I thought he was going to sweep her off her feet, bring him in his limousine, and just take her around town.
Yeah.
He was hooked on Janelle.
And how could you blame the man? See Willie Miles also going to swing by?
He's coming in as
well.
well.
My God, we got everybody coming in studio today.
Janelle's plane actually got delayed. She'll be in tomorrow. She will not be in today.
Oh, seriously? Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you guys have told us that information?
Ashley texted us that yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, I never got that text.
Really?
Oh.
It's in the group chat.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a part of that whole thing.
Got a text message here from NWO Jesus. Sounds like a guy that might be excited about a Hulk Hogan in-studio appearance. He says, Dick Bremer and Hollywood Hogan? Are you kidding me? What a great day.
Yeah.
What a tag team the two of them could make. Dick Bremer's a pretty big guy.
He is tall.
I could see the two of them maybe, one last match.
I had no idea he was tall until you told me, Nick.
Yeah.
When you met him throwing out your first pitch.
Yeah, Dick Bremer's a big dude. Back in the day, I could see he and the Hulkster making a formidable team. So there you go. We'll see how this all plays out. Hopefully, Hulk is here and whatever. Any other problems he's had here in town, haven't soured his mood too much because I don't believe we've ever had the man in studio.
Nope.
We've had a lot of WWF, WWE greats in the building over the years. I was thinking about this yesterday afternoon. We really have had, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton. Who am I missing, Josh? Kane, Brock Lesnar.
And Brock back when he was wrestling at the U. Even before he was in the WWE or did any UFC
Cody
stuff.
and by damn, don't tell me Dustin Rhodes.
That was insane.
That was a great. We've had a great time with these folks over the years, and I know I'm forgetting some.
Did you ever have Okerlund in?
Not in the building, but I've told you the story about the legendary morning that I spent with Mean Gene and Ric Flair in about 1998 or something like that, where it was completely off the rails because Flair was wildly intoxicated. Gene was also intoxicated, but held it together, as you might imagine, because he was a straighter-laced character.
He's a pro.
I'll be one of the most ridiculous programs I've ever been a part of was when Mean Gene and Ric Flair stayed out all night before the live morning show. And things were iffy there for a while. Classic Country Jesus. Don't forget Scott Steiner's legendary appearance on this show many years ago. Yes, we were all terrified that we were going to be beaten to death.
Jimmy Hart?
Not in studio, but I had another just one of those moments where you can't believe it's really happening to you, where I got into the ring in WCW, way back in the WCW days. I got to wrestle in a match against the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. The man called my home phone, which was something that I'll never forget.
We've had Chris Jericho on the phone.
Yeah, but as far as in-studio appearances, we've had some greats, no question. Had a lot of fun. And we hope to, that continues today. I'm pretty sure it will. Hulk Hogan. Really, honestly, one of the most recognizable people in the entire world.
Oh, without question.
Yeah, you don't even have to know wrestling to know Hulk Hogan.
No, hell no. So there you go. Hopefully, Josh, your old lady can control herself.
I think she'll be well behaved.
Okay.
I haven't seen her this excited about something in a long time.
That's great to hear.
Oh, geez, Jesus said Hulk Hogan and Janelle Klein on the radio. Well, news to me, she's not going to be in. He said, add in Brad Ryder, and I will arrive all over my bedspread this morning. Brad Ryder.
No. See Willie Miles. Hopefully he does something for you as well. See Willie Miles.
I
Hulk
love
Hogan.
having him in studio.
Yeah. Last time he was in, you were sick, so I'm sure you guys got some catching up to do and all that. All right. I love the audio there in our show intro of some of the great moments from Hulk Hogan's television wrestling career. Of course, WrestleMania 3. Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura on the call of Hogan's victory over Andre the Giant?
Yeah, when he picked him up and slammed him, everyone was thinking he could never do it.
And, well, yeah, as you heard, Jesse Ventura, he couldn't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't. He was the heel announcer, so he wasn't rooting for Hogan. Listeners texting in, yes, Goldberg came in studio many, many years ago.
Oh, shoot, that was our old building.
Yep.
That's when we've told the story before, but right after the interview, he ordered his breakfast, and it took about 15 minutes to get through all the food. I couldn't believe it was like a 12-egg white omelet. That's the one that stood out to me. But he took forever. There was so much stuff he ate for breakfast.
A 12-egg omelet? Oh, I would hate to be the person to flip that.
A 12-egg white omelet? Well, then you got to separate the yolks.
Yeah.
What a pain that is.
You'd need some upper body strength to flip a 12. Ask me about CrossFit Jesus has texted in. Again, the number is 651-989-9393 if he's ever want to text in. Ask me about CrossFit Jesus says, when will the Shockmaster be making an appearance?
Dude, I just watched that that Dark Side of the Ring on Earthquake and all that.
All right,
God, that was sad.
Okay, Dark Side of the Ring on Earthquake. We're making some deep references here. Earthquake and was it Typhoon made up a tag team of. Were they the Natural Disasters? Yes. Okay. Yep. But the same fella who portrayed Earthquake also portrayed this failed character Shockmaster. Correct?
Yep.
So the man, I don't remember all these. I know a lot of the stories, but not all of them. I'm guessing he died young?
No, he didn't really die young, but it was more like how he was treated poorly by Vince McMahon and got all those garbage gimmicks like Earthquake and the Shockmaster.
Friggin' Shockmaster. A good friend of mine tells me there's a current documentary going around about the demise of WCW, and I know a lot of these stories from television wrestling history. There have been multiple documentaries made about the downfall of this or the rise of that. Has anyone seen this more recent?
I saw a trailer for it, but I haven't watched.
So it is a recent. Yeah, I have to check that out. Maybe we can ask the Hulkster himself. What are they telling us, or what are they not telling us? I love to watch the wrestling documentaries. Hulk would be a good guy to ask. I mean, are we really getting the true stories on these documentaries? Maybe he might have something or another to say along those lines.
Was it possibly who killed WCW?
I think that's it. Mm-hmm. I think that's it. So there you go. All right. So we're looking forward to the Hulk around 8:30. We'll see how that goes. What else is going on around here?
We got more Booze Cruise tickets to give away.
That's
coming up quickly.
We do. Crazy Fish Guy Jesus. We got a lot of wrestling fans in our listening audience, and they're going to keep pounding us here. Crazy Fish Guy Jesus. Crazy Fish Guy Jesus is how you say it. Did we ever have Sable in studio? That does not ring a bell. Does not ring a bell. Sable.
I think you would have remembered if Sable ever strolled through.
Well, yeah, unless it was just one of those things that was so shocking to the system, your brain stopped working.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, but, not in studio, but on location, I've had the opportunity to interview Trish Stratus. I embarrassed myself terribly many years ago when Jim Ross and Terry Runnels came in studio. WWF, late 90s. But here's the problem. At the time, I was a hardcore WCW guy. I didn't watch a lot of WWF at that time. Not much at all. It wasn't until The Rock and Stone Cold really started to gain some steam that I started flipping over to WWF. So of course I knew who Jim Ross was, but I was unaware of Terry Runnels. And I believe her character at the time was Gold Dust's, what are they called in the business? Ring
Valet.
Valet, yes.
Marlena.
Yes, right. Okay. So she comes in studio. I don't know at all who she is, and I lacked show prep the night prior. I more or less just prepped for Jim Ross to ask him some questions. So they walk into the studio, and I say, oh, here they are from the WWF. It's Jim Ross and Terry Reynolds.
Oh,
Reynolds is what I thought her name was.
Uh-oh.
Because, I was informed a few days before the show, Jim Ross and this. So I could not figure out I couldn't figure out why the first 10 minutes of the interview, she is eyeballing me from across the soundboard like I'm the lowest form of life on earth.
So she definitely noticed.
Oh, absolutely.
You could have known the name and just misspoke. I'm sure that's happened to her tons and tons of times.
I said it 3 or 4 times. Terry Reynolds. It's not Reynolds. It's Runnels. So I couldn't figure it out. And I think it was JR who pulled me aside during commercials and said, you're saying her name wrong. I was saying her name wrong.
That sucks. Did anybody mention Arya Davari? Listeners are texting in some other wrestlers.
We love Arya.
Yeah.
Everybody be cool. My wife's listening. I'm sorry. I had to tune out for a second. Did anybody mention when we had Pancake Power in studio with Kofi Kingston, Big E?
Dude,
those guys are the coolest.
That's the last time my wife came in just to bring my son because he was a huge, huge fan.
They were great.
They were awesome. Those guys were so good.
I'm sorry that I didn't bring them up because they were the 3 of them together. That was some of the best stuff. They were terrific guests. Yes, the New Day. So
my son got one of those pancakes from an event.
Oh, he caught one in the crowd?
He caught a cold pancake.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they came over and high-fived him. He was so pumped.
He must have been sitting by us that night because we also caught a cold pancake.
Did you get a pancake?
Yeah, and I was upset that they were cold.
I guess I wouldn't have thought. I would have assumed they'd be warm pancakes, but it makes sense that they're not back there microwaving them right before a match.
Why?
You got one guy, his job is just sitting there in the toaster.
Well,
pancake guy.
Yeah.
You know how, if you go to a breakfast or brunch buffet and there's the dudes making the omelets? Yep. It would be kind of funny if they had that bar out there as they're in the ring.
All right, we got 10 minutes till the New Day match. Get it going.
Why I, as a man in his 40s, was so upset that the pancakes being thrown out by the New Day were cold, I don't know why. I don't know why. I guess I morphed back into a child wrestling fan. You know what I'm saying?
Did your son take a bite of the pancake?
Oh, I guess, I didn't ask. I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Natalia has been in this studio before. Thank you, Sean, who texted in. Natalia, the niece of Bret Hart, the daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Sure. So we've had a hell of a run with those folks. Hell of a run. All right, so we look forward to see Willie Miles and Hulk Hogan. We got Booze Cruise tickets. Oh, I was just reading about, maybe we can get to this later. I don't know if we have enough time to get to this now. I was just reading about somebody, Wapple, who held on to their virginity even longer than you did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If you believe this story.
You're not sure
I think this is a social media thing, yeah.
Just to try to gain some popularity.
Yep.
Gotcha. How long did you go before snapping that bean?
24.
24?
Oh, yeah.
How do you forget? Come on, man.
Yeah, don't play that game with us.
I honestly didn't know.
No,
you mentioned it on the air several times. We were there. I mean, we weren't there, literally there, but we were in your life at that time. Everyone remembers how old they were when they lost their virginity, especially if you waited that long.
We've dealt with characters before, Wapple, who did this gimmick repeatedly. We can't do it again.
I honestly didn't remember. I was thinking back to how many girlfriends it was ago.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I guess we'll have to take your word for it.
I'll take your word for it, but I've told you before, I remember the barometric pressure. I remember the sun's azimuth. I remember the exact second where I probably should have climaxed, but I never did because of Catholic guilt and fear.
Oh!
I had to fake. The only orgasm I ever faked was my first time having sex.
Catholic guilt and fear.
So I couldn't get it to work. And I remember thinking, I should really be enjoying this. Even though I was 18, I probably still wasn't ready. The only reason I really agreed to it is because I thought, well, I'm 18, all my friends have, and I'll have a story after this. But I did get a reputation as a total stud that can last forever.
That's the only reason why you went for it? I mean, you weren't attracted to the lady at all? You didn't want
She was all right. Yeah, it wasn't like somebody that I had pined. There was another girl that I I had my eye on. And she ended up being my girlfriend afterwards. But this particular girl, it was just kind of to get it over with.
I mean, we've heard this story before, and I love it every time because it's very interesting. But, I mean, take a step back now and think about that is an immense amount of guilt and fear, Catholic or otherwise. That is an immense amount of guilt or fear to hold off a virgin male's orgasm.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I couldn't make it work.
That's insane.
You remember what else? How it resolved?
Is this when you got poop on your nose?
No, that's a different story.
Thank
that's
God.
with the girl I dated afterwards.
Okay.
Is this when you told your dad?
That's when I told my dad.
You told your dad.
I felt so guilty, I had to tell my dad.
My God. I mean, come on. What the hell was going on in your home behind the scenes? I mean, I know all about Catholic guilt, and who doesn't know a thing or two about fear? But that must have been taken to another level where you couldn't even orgasm your first time having sex.
Nope.
And then it compelled you, somehow you were compelled to tell your dad that you got laid.
I eventually...
And it wasn't bragging.
Oh, God, no. It was guilt. It was a tough conversation.
Oh, my God, what have I done?
Yeah. But I want you to know I figured it out, and I got really fast at it, too. I could complete that very quickly.
You sped things up a little bit?
Yeah, I could figure that out.
And to be fair, I also called Josh's dad when I lost my virginity, too, just to let him know.
He appreciated that.
He did.
Yeah, and I mean, there's more kind of disturbing guilt things around sex over the years, but maybe I'll leave some of those details out.
Oh, I know some of the stories, and again, I'm always very entertained hearing about it. If you want to get into them, go right ahead.
Well, I probably shouldn't because it's embarrassing. I'll just say I
know one of the stories.
You know when a gentleman or a lady might end up having an orgasm, but there's nobody around? Do you know how that happens?
You're talking about masturbation.
I mean, if you want to be crass, sure.
Okay. I think I know where you're going with this.
I had a trusted friend that I felt so guilty about when that happened because it was an accident the first time that
you had to tell one of your buddies that you masturbated?
To make sure it was okay. And and then it happened a couple times after that, and I went to the same buddy, and I'll never forget the look on his face when he's like, "Again?"
So you told him because you wanted to know if it was normal?
Yeah, I felt guilty about it, and he was trusted because we've mentioned this before. Back in the day, I mean, if anybody knew you masturbated, it was headline news at school, and you were deemed this just complete pervert, despite the fact everyone's doing it.
Right.
You were a pariah. Well, at least at my school, and I think that's kind of common back in the day.
It wasn't your school. It was the time period.
Yeah, that's how it was. Where now, like we've talked about, people are just so open about it.
So you were what, a 15, 14, 13-year-old kid?
14.
Wow. Yeah. Someday tell us really what went on behind closed doors in your home.
It was not just home. It was school, church, everything. It got me. It still does.
I know this. I know it's still, you still are troubled. I think somehow the word is you're like hamstrung.
Oh, yeah.
You're addled by this Catholic guilt and just guilt in general.
There was a time as an adult where, as you so crassly put it, some masturbation happened. And I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I said, "You sinner." As an adult.
Dude,
disgusted with myself.
What a life. What a life.
Disgusted.
Oh, I feel so bad for you.
Where we were going with all this, not that I'm upset that we were sidetracked to hear more about Josh's
the weird stuff, hang-ups around different things to be guilty about.
There's a story going around about a gal who is still hanging on to her V card at 33. And I know that's not a world, of course. I mean, I have a friend who is still a virgin, and he's 52 years old. But for our show purposes, I just wanted to tell Wapple that we found one that is still hanging on to it, hell, 9 years later than you did.
And her situation's a little different because she claims it's on purpose. Wapple, despite trying, it didn't happen. And I want to clear something up with High Hopes McGee Jesus. He said he didn't lose his until he was 25. And he thought I was going after Wapple for it taking so long. That's not what I was going after him for at all. It was that he didn't remember when he lost his virginity, especially since it was just, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You remember that. I've never met someone that wasn't sure.
Right. No.
If it's a normal situation of you losing your virginity.
Again, to save a long screaming match, I'm just going to have to, like we said a few minutes ago, I'll have to take your word for it that somehow you forgot one of the marquee moments in every man or woman's life. Sorry we even periodically isn't the word. Sorry if we even temporarily blew up, but I think it brought back bad memories for Josh and I. We used to deal quite regularly with a guy who tried to lead us to believe that he just couldn't quite remember all of these things that no human being on earth forgets.
One of my favorite was, I think I had a threesome.
He thinks, but he wasn't sure.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have had a threesome, you might not. Who's to remember?
So, although
he thinks he had sex in the middle of a movie theater. That was another one. I think I did.
Although, Wapple, I truly believe that was some kind of goofy attempt on your part to sound cool. I'm not going to. I'm not going to get into it.
It's early. But let's say this was a Friday evening. You're well rested, and somebody said, "Hey, how old were you?" You'd remember at that point, right?
I still would have to count back.
God darn it! Okay. I was really hoping that you'd come clean on that one. Maybe I could have phrased that better.
I know it's frustrating. Maybe when we have more time, we can get back to this lady, 33-year-old virgin is how you say it. On purpose? What's the purpose? She's
waiting for the right guy.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's not uncommon, right?
No, it's a little less common, in my opinion, these days than maybe 30, 40 years ago. But
it makes sense. That's honorable.
Sure.
Not to shame anybody who didn't. Like I said, I just did to get it over with. But yeah, I mean, that's cool that she's waiting for the right person.
Do whatever you got to do. She's of course, she's playing this all out on social media. So like Josh said, this could be all nonsense because she wants to be famous. You know how things go these days. But she has laid out 12 rules for a guy if he wants to be the one to snatch up that V card.
It's kind of annoying. And I could see why a guy might lose interest if somebody's handing you a list of all the criteria you have to pass. But you know how some people are like, where they're like, "Oh no, I've never cheated on my spouse." Now, did I give it to 12 girls in the back door last year? Absolutely, but that's not cheating. You know, they have loose definitions. There was a girl I remember in college who had said she's never had any type of sex or whatever, but she talked about like blowing 14 guys in the last 2 years. I'm like, well, you know, that is a sex act. Some people consider that more intimate than just regular penetration.
Yeah, it depends on who you are, how you were raised.
But she's like disgusted that one of our friends had sex. It was a one-night stand. She's shaming her, and we're like, well, wait a minute here. I don't know if you have a leg to stand on.
Maybe we should ask Hulk Hogan about when he lost his virginity.
I bet he remembers, and he's like a legend, Wapple.
He's been through a lot. He's taken a lot of chair shots, and I bet he remembers exactly what the hell was going on.
And if I could be so bold, I bet he's had a woman or two since.
Oh!
Man, maybe enough to forget.
Oh, I hear you. Boy, your conversation, Josh, your comments there on a gal you knew back in the day who had a very different definition than most on what counts for sex. God, one of the funniest things I ever saw in my life was at a house party. Jesus, we were maybe in late 20s probably. I was dating a gal. She was fun. And we were heading off to a house party. My buddy Donnie was hosting a house party. And my girlfriend at the time said, well, do you mind if I bring a girlfriend with us? Sure. I met this girlfriend, you know, the friend of my girlfriend, and she was buck wild right away. I liked her right away. I did. She was just kind of wild and crazy. You know, just on the car ride over to Donnie's house party, I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. My girlfriend was a fun person too, no question. But her friend I was looking forward to the night. Well, all you had to do was put a couple of drinks in this friend, and she was just the life of the party. Funny. Flirty, you know, and my buddies enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts talking about her beliefs in sex and relationships. She's sharing all of her thoughts on sex and relationships. And she says, now this was pretty quickly. The homeowner, Donnie, hadn't even formally met her yet. You know, house parties, you get busy talking to this group of people and that group of people. So this friend of my girlfriend is saying, you know what? I love anal sex. And I don't even, she said something along the lines of, if I want to have a one-night stand with a guy, I choose anal sex over vaginal sex because it's less intimate. Right when she finishes that sentence, Donnie steps into the circle of conversation and goes, how you doing? My name's Donnie. Nice to meet you. God damn. And you know what? I got a lot of credit that night, Cubby, for bringing the right group to the party.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Oh, I don't even know how many guys she might have hooked up with that night. Those were the days. Oh, God. Hulk Hogan, hello. Welcome to the show. All right, we got to take a break, like we said. We're counting on Hulk Hogan at 8:30. We are.
But we are the most canceled on morning show in America. And just a few people have texted in, I'm going to go see him at this liquor store. Well, from what we've been told, his liquor store appearances have been canceled. So maybe call first before you head out.
We don't know the story behind these liquor stores.
We're trying to figure it out, but
maybe the man quit drinking. I don't know. We don't know the story.
Wouldn't that be an odd timing when he's out across the country promoting his new beer, and all of a sudden he decides, I'm not drinking anymore? I bet the beer company would be infuriated.
They would be. Yeah, that's why I keep saying, we're planning on talking to Hulk Hogan. We're scheduled to talk to Hulk Hogan because we don't know what's going on with these cancellations. We'll just hope he shows up and raps with us today. We got to take a break. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.
This episode brought to you by Progressive. Whether you're driving, cooking, or doing laundry, Progressive knows the podcasts you listen to go best when they're bundled with another activity. Much like how their Progressive home and auto policies go best when they're bundled. Having these two policies together makes taking care of your insurance easier and could help you save too. Customers who save by switching their home and car insurance to Progressive save over $775 on average. That's a whole lot of savings and protection for your favorite podcast listening activities, like going on a road trip, cooking dinner, and even hitting the home gym. Yep, your home and your car are even easier to protect when you bundle your insurance together. Find your perfect combo. Get a home and car insurance quote at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $779 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Sure. Stupid news. But first, text messages. But first, Unga Bunga.
Oh, terrible way to go.
Everybody's different when it comes to sex. We were having a conversation earlier on this subject. Some wait to lose their virginity. They want to wait for someone special to come along. Some are animals. They're out there banging when they're 11. I was mentioning a gal that I knew years ago. Anal sex was her go-to move for a one-night stand because in her mind, regular sex was too intimate for a one-night stand. Now, if you ask me, it doesn't get more intimate than when you're getting the back door involved. But like I said,
I totally agree. That's like usually something you work up to, right? Maybe you've been in a relationship for a while or you pay extra for it. However it works out. It seems like that's not something you start with.
Right, trying something new,
There's all types out there. It leads me to this text message that poured in here a few minutes ago. A listener says, one of my friends, they are married now, a set of friends, they're married now, they've been dating since high school. They started with only anal and waited for what he calls here normal sex. They waited on that until they were, quote, ready.
I did know people that did that because they claimed it wasn't losing their virginity yet.
Oh, yeah. Were they religious?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was going to say
I've heard that story before.
A couple people in my school, it was the same thing.
Right.
For religious purposes, they said that didn't count. Like Mouse and Jesus. He texted in and it reminded me of soaking. And I'm familiar with soaking, sure, where there's some insertion, but you don't move and you don't finish, and that's considered not really counting as sex.
I'm a soaker.
Really?
I've become enthusiastic about soaking.
I don't think I could leave it there.
All right, now...
I might have to twitch or something. I'd have to do something.
To completely change subjects, we were also chatting earlier about our planned guest in studio 2 hours from now at 8:30 is the one and only Hulk Hogan. We were reminiscing about, we've been very lucky. We've had a lot of great, all-time great television wrestlers come through this building over the last 8 years. A couple that we neglected to mention originally, Mick Foley, who we may possibly be talking to tomorrow. Suddenly, we're WWE headquarters around here. We may possibly be having a conversation with Mick Foley tomorrow. I'm not kidding you about that. We neglected to mention Mick Foley, this person, that person. We've had a lot of greats on the air with us. I didn't remember this. A listener texted in, Wapple, did you cry when we had Jeff Hardy on the air?
No, but it sounded like I did.
It sounded like you cried.
Yeah, there was so much emotions. Because that's my all-time favorite wrestler as a little kid growing up.
Oh, so you were very, very emotional, but you
definitely.
Tears didn't actually fall down your face.
No.
They were in your eyes, though.
And in my heart.
Your heart teared up?
He had tears in his heart?
I didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah, that's how emotional it was.
You should write a song, Tears in Your Heart.
So more or less you were crying. You were just able to keep the tears from pouring down your face.
Yeah, I remember when I asked the question, people were like, wow, that dude sounds so nervous again.
I remember you were very, very nervous. You're always nervous. Please don't cry when Hulk Hogan is in here.
I think I'll be able to handle it.
Okay.
You haven't seemed overly annoying about Hulk Hogan's appearance, where sometimes you're like a little kid. I mean, you'll send us like a 3-page email if we were to print it out about your excitement.
Yeah,
Is he too old for you? Meaning, and no offense to Hogan if he's listening, I think he knows what I mean by that. By the time you were fully engaged in television wrestling, he was already in that legend status that only appeared once in a while.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
So I really didn't. I mean, I know the Andre the Giant match and a couple big matches and stuff that he had, but.
He beat WrestleMania 18.
Yes.
Icon versus Icon against The Rock. He beat Andre the Giant with that move, Jim Ross said. Okay.
A lot of people texting in about the poop hole loophole.
Is that what it's called?
Where you think that if you were to have anal sex, that doesn't count. Even though sex is really in the name of anal sex, it just doesn't count.
Right.
You got to be careful.
I have
loophole.
Talk about
There's a song?
That was a terrible blue balling right there, by the way.
Well, he interrupted you, so he stopped orgasming. I bet that would hurt. Yes, people are sending us links to a song. I'd imagine we can't play it technologically wise, can't play it licensing wise, and probably it's too dirty.
Yeah, we'd have to give it a listen before.
I've heard about the poop hole loophole. Absolutely. All right, here we are talking about sex and this and that. As far as dating goes.
Oh, wow. It's in Urban Dictionary, too.
Poop hole loophole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
As far as dating goes, in the year 2024, here's a guy, an Iowegian, for cripe's sake. Here's a guy who dodged a huge bullet. Although he did get caught up in the madness.
Almost literally.
A little bit. But he did get caught up in the madness a little bit, but I think he should consider himself lucky. First, let me tell you about the bullet. She's an 18-year-old Iowegian gal named Samaya. She was supposed to have a first date on Sunday with the guy she's been talking to on a dating app. A lot of that going around. Folks playing around on the dating apps. She was supposed to have a first date on Sunday with a guy she's been talking to on a dating app. They'd been chatting for just over a week. But at the last minute, she decided she didn't want to meet him. From what I understand, he was headed over to her house. They were going to meet. Last minute, she decided she didn't want to meet him. Instead of just maybe calling the poor bastard, she called the cops on him. She told the cops her abusive ex-boyfriend was outside of her place and that he threatened to hit, punch, kick, and stab her. She also claimed to be pregnant with his baby. So the guy that she was supposed to go out with got effing detained by police. I believe as he was showing up at her place for their first date, my damn, what an effing scene that must have been. The local cops cuffed him. They thought he was the made-up violent ex-boyfriend. Are you following this so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Dude shows up. He's detained by police. They think he's a maniac ex-boyfriend because the gal called them and said he's outside her place right now. Luckily, this guy, kid, I'm guessing he's quite young, she's 18, he kept it together and he showed them the text messages on his phone from this Samaya gal.
Oh, I believe the kids call that receipts. He showed receipts, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Wow. And it proved that, he was invited to come over. They were going on a friggin' date. He's not a psycho ex-boyfriend. She eventually admitted she made all of it up after she got cold feet and didn't want to meet him anymore.
Yeah, I think more so than ever, people are afraid of conflict or interpersonal communications. I mean, certainly...
It's gotten to that point.
You said call the guy. That would never happen today. I mean... Maybe she Snapchats him or texts him or something like that.
What have we become?
But that's weird that she couldn't even send a text.
No.
A lot of people would say, hey, I got called into work if you're afraid of confrontation.
This is just so stupid, it makes my damn head hurt just thinking about it. She now has been charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of placing a false 911 call and filing a false report. I mean, come on. Every damn last one of us was dumb as a box of rocks at 18 years old. But this is beyond anything that, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, blame it on diarrhea.
Somebody could have died. This is insane.
Could have ruined this guy's life. Could have got him hurt. Could have got him killed. But you're right. I think that's how uncomfortable young people are these days with face-to-face confrontation. Christ almighty. What is wrong with you?
I've certainly been guilty of not thinking of the easy answer. And I know, we have engineers in this building. Well, not anymore, but we've had previous engineers who have, I'm sorry, but what I meant by not anymore is the one we have now is different. But we had previous engineers where it'd be something like, hey, I can't get this piece of equipment to turn on, and they would never think to push the on button or make sure that there is power. They'd go into, well, we got to check the circuits. They're too smart. They think way ahead. Mm-hmm. So the simplest answer sometimes just evades people, where she could have just said, hey, my mom's in the hospital, something, or my car, I can't go out because, like you said, Dana, I've got a little diarrhea.
Mm-hmm.
Or shoot, you could say nowadays, I've got a cough and nobody's going to want to go anywhere near you.
Yeah, that's a big one these days.
Man. All right.
I do hope it's one of those things where somebody says, why didn't you just say you had to work? And then she realizes, I'm a fool.
You know that I don't get what we're doing anymore. I don't. Okay, we'll keep it going here with chapter 10,000 of the sex doll mistaken for a dead body saga. A dude working for a tow company in Texas discovered what appeared to be a woman's body in the front passenger seat of an abandoned car.
You know what the good news is? The subtext here is that sex dolls are fantastic nowadays, right? They're really something. Back in the day when it was just the blow-up doll with the surprised look on her face,
right?
Nobody would confuse that for a human being.
Judy. That was her name, the surprise sex doll, Judy.
I used Resusca Annie. That's all we had.
She was kind of pretty.
Judy or Resusca Annie?
Resusca Annie. Yeah. Again and again and again and again and again with the sex dolls mistaken for a dead body. One more time, a dude working for a tow company. He sees what he thought was a woman's body in the front passenger seat of an abandoned car. He calls 911. The car had been left sitting outside a Jehovah's Witness church, if that does anything for anybody. I don't know. The body had been wrapped in blankets. The hairdo on its head was visible from outside the vehicle. Local police showed up. They were concerned. They had to get a warrant to search the vehicle. The cops noticed that the passenger door had an interior padlock on it. That's effing weird, right? Mm-hmm. They thought they had what they call here a, quote, death investigation on their hands. After waiting several hours for the warrant, cops were able to crack open the car, and of course, it was just a rubber F doll, and one that appeared to have been well used. It looked tired as hell.
Worn out.
Didn't it look, Josh, like it had been through some trauma?
Yeah, they've been together for a while.
So, as they put it here in the story, the lifelike body was not a lifeless body. Sorry. I'm not sure what the deal was with the abandoned car or what the F-doll was doing up in there. But my God, this gimmick is becoming tired. If you're man enough to F a doll, be man enough to bag it up and throw it away properly once it is full.
Full.
But honestly, the doll looked terrible. To me, it looked like it had been drinking all day and needed some sleep. It looked like it had recently partied with Michael Irvin or John Daly or someone like that. It just looked exhausted. But I would.
Oh, I would too. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, I would.
Maybe not that particular one, but if I could have a brand new one that looked just like her.
You don't need a brand new one. You're not brand new.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, I'm not, but I'm just imagining what this gentleman might be like, and I don't know if I want his sloppy seconds.
You don't want what Michael Irvin may have left behind, or John Daly.
Oh, I'd be honored to have whatever Michael Irvin might have left behind.
Those would be too
John
cool.
Daly makes me a little nervous.
Those would be two cool Eskimo brothers, in my opinion.
It was John Daly, probably be a Hooters girl, right? I'd imagine that she'd have a Hooters T-shirt on or something.
Hooters! I think we can all relate to those tough teenage years where you clash with your folks at every turn, the arguments. You say things that you shouldn't have. You do things that you shouldn't have done. I think we can all relate to those tough teen years. But I'm a little thrown by this dude's behavior because he's 35 years old. But let's give a player a chance. Let's hear the story.
Looks more like a teenager to me, at least.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
I would never have guessed he was in his 30s.
No, this guy's 35 years old. Again, I'll let her buck. A 35-year-old by the name of Samuel Kimball was taken into custody. Oh, Summers down there near Nashville, Tennessee. He was arrested for vandalism a few days ago. His mama, a gal called Elaine Kimball, she called the cops. She had left the house for a while only to come back and find some disturbing things. It's not directly noted here in the story, but I think we have to assume that her 35-year-old son, Samuel, still lives there in the house with her. So Mom leaves the house. She comes back. Mom discovered that Samuel had thrown food from the refrigerator onto the floor. He had broken a glass bowl. He tossed a full litter box full of cat turds all around the kitchen and her bedroom. He had written the word liar on her bedroom door.
That's the most disturbing.
Again, actions you might get from an extremely angry 16-year-old kid. This dude will be 40 years old soon. But here's the part where Samuel's rage towards his mother went to a weird place. Sam, when Mom got home, she noticed that Sam had also flipped over her mattress and cut a deuce on it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's a level of anger I haven't experienced yet.
He coiled one on his mother's mattress. Cops had a chance to rap with Samuel, and he said that he was mighty upset about what he called a, quote, car situation. Again, that also sounds like something you might hear from a 16-year-old. He did say his parents were verbally abusive, and he had snapped after 35 years' worth of emotional abuse from his folks. When they asked him, what's with the hot coiler on the mattress, he said that was because his mother is a bitch.
Oh.
I think Sam, Josh, correct me if you'd go another direction, I think Sam needs to get a jobby job and move the hell out already.
Yeah, I bet the parents, maybe that's part of his issues. I bet the parents have said that quite a few times. Hey, you know, you're going to be the type of guy that's going to end up crapping on our bed at some point.
They saw it coming.
Maybe move out before that happens.
You're 35! He doesn't look like the most motivated 35-year-old that I've ever seen.
Oh, God, no.
No, he does not. I understand not all of us get along with our folks. And the relationship can be iffy until the day that you or your folks check out. But step one, get the hell away from each other. Move out. You're going to enjoy the mugshot from this here next fella, if you get a chance to see it. This dude appears to be either higher than a damned Georgia pine, or he hasn't slept in years.
He does look exhausted.
Take a look for yourself. Is there any way we can put this up on our website? What's happening with this?
Let's see. I sent it. Ashley's homesick. I think she might be posting stuff. Who else should I send that to?
Send it to me. Yeah, it's definitely not up.
Take a look at that up on our website here shortly. This guy. Dude ended up in jail for tuning up his girlfriend. And that's a serious dick move. It says here now the two of them were arguing over what they call here a honey bun. Like a cinnamon roll type of a sweet treat, don't you know? A honey bun. Anyone ever tried a honey bun?
I believe
yeah, definitely.
I have, yes.
Definitely.
And I believe it was also warm.
Okay,
So
I don't.
made it even better.
It's really not my favorite Little Debbie, but...
Oh, it's a Little Debbie product?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm not familiar with it. I worship the ground that Little Debbie walks upon. So a 47-year-old fella called Andre Eason, he's the dude that went off to jail. He and his lady were slapping each other around at the neighborhood Walmart. The cops weren't sure. This was in the parking lot, I should say, I'm sorry, at the neighborhood Walmart where Andre was slapping his girlfriend upside the head. The cops weren't sure, but they think that one of the two, Andre or his lady, this is how the cops put it, likely consumed the honey bun before the other could partake.
That can be frustrating. You're super excited
Definitely.
for your Little Debbie honey bun, and
Sure.
somebody eats it right out from underneath you?
Sure. I've had some fist fights when we were young with friends, you know. You feel extra ashamed the next day after that, right? Number one, I got in a fist fight. You should be ashamed of yourself. Number two, I got in a fist fight with one of my bros, and it was usually drunken nonsense, right?
Sure.
I came real close to punching one of my best friends in his friggin' jaw a number of years ago. We were hungover to beat hell. I mean, sickly hungover. So what's the best thing to do? We got to have a little hair of the dog, and we got to have something to eat, or we're going to die. So we get to this bar restaurant type of a setup. I ordered myself a tall tap beer to kill the pain. And I ordered myself some kind of delicious club sandwich kind of a thing with the meat and the cheese and the bacon. Oh, I couldn't wait to get that in my body and get a few Steve Weisers in me so I could go back home and sleep for an hour. But I had to hit the head. There's my sandwich. Oh, God, I can't wait. There's my tall beer, but I got to hit the head. So I said, I got to take a whiz. I'll be right back. When I came back, as a prank, my buddy had put my sandwich in my beer.
No, that ain't right.
Just because he thought he was funny. Drown my sandwich. Now my sandwich and my beer are ruined. And he knows, because he's feeling the same way. He knows I'm on death's door. I could have broken his jaw for him. So you're right, Josh. I think we all understand that frustration. One of your favorite snacks is there in front of you. Someone snatches it up. You shouldn't turn to violence, but...
Did he ever make up for it?
He quickly bought me another beer and then ordered another sandwich, but now I got to wait another 20 friggin' minutes for the sandwich to come out. I was pissed.
That's frustrating.
Oh, I was pissed.
There can be redemption. Because my oldest, we both enjoy the same chips, right? And I kind of forget sometimes the food we have, and then I'll remember, oh my gosh, we've got chips. And I'll go, and he'd leave like 2 or 3.
Oh.
That would be it. He'd eat the whole thing. He'd leave 2 or 3. And now, just like on Sunday for Father's Day, he drops off usually for different birthdays, Father's Day stuff, my favorite foods. And so he brings a ton of chips nowadays. So there's redemption. He's making up for all those years of eating all the barbecue chips and stuff.
I got my revenge on this prick. You want to know how?
How'd you get revenge?
He went out of town. I played around with his wife.
That's a little extra.
I guess you did. You
I don't
win
know.
there.
You showed him.
I don't know that that's commensurate. I don't know that that's an equal.
Paybacks are a bitch.
Got it, you sucker.
I played around with his now ex-wife when he went out of town.
Don't mess with a man's food.
Did he ever find this out, or is he learning right now?
Probably learning right now.
Oh, he's on his way to Walgreens for a paternity test.
So they had to arrest this guy who beat up his girlfriend over a honey bun. Andre is his name. He's a real cutie pie. This here report says, he likes to sell fentanyl rocks and bags of meth dust to people. Aggravated assault, theft, disorderly intoxication. He's had a hell of a run. And he's apparently a big honey bun enthusiast. It says here that he has some kind of honey bun related tattoo. Come on.
That's hardcore.
That should be up there now.
Thanks, brah.
I know a lot of folks.
Man.
Oh, you have the picture of this guy up on our website?
Yeah.
Yeah, check him out. You see his face, Wapple?
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like he hasn't had a good night's sleep since about 1982?
Oh, this dude's so tired. He is so tired.
He is very sleepy.
I know a lot of folks love those tattoos these days. Everywhere you look, people with tattoos. Food-related tattoos. I don't know that I've ever seen one of those. A food-related tattoo. I love Burger King, or whatever the case may be.
I've seen that in contests, right, where somebody wants to win Burger King for a year.
Oh, sure.
Maybe if you invented a food, like you're the guy that came up with the honey bun, maybe you'd put that on there. That's your legacy.
We're talking about a guy who loves honey bun so much he had a honey bun related tattoo put on his body, and it's forever. It's a permanent thing. Text us if you have a food related tattoo where you've decided to announce with your body how much you love a certain food.
Dana has an eggplant tramp stamp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's huge, too.
You love eggplant?
Yeah, it's an eggplant tramp right above his butt.
Oh, no, Dana.
We got one more food.
Yeah, he's sick, man.
I'm gross.
Dang it, I want to get to this other food-related story, but we're running late. This has been happening a lot lately. I don't know. Am I getting slower? Is my delivery slowing down, Josh?
Oh, I think we're just having a lot of fun with these. That's good, though.
Tune in tomorrow.
Save some work for tonight.
Yes, tune in tomorrow for more food-related laughs here on the... We got to check the sports. We'll be right back.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
All the sacrifice, handling the enormous weight of massive expectations, ends tonight here. It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
Oh, my God. It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it! Oh, my God, we did it. What they gonna say now? What they gonna say now?
Oh, let me guess, because everybody doubted you. Nobody thought you could do this. Did the announcer really do a callback to Kevin Garnett as the game was closing out last night? Come on, man.
They were waiting on that.
For Christ's sake. Boston Celtics finally put the 2023-24 basketball season away with a win last night in Game 5 of the NBA Final.
Man, I'm so hyped right now. Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
I remember that. That scared the hell out of me when KG did that.
It was weird.
Because I've been hyped before. He said, I'm so hyped right now. And I know the feeling of being hyped. Look at me, Cubby. I'm hyped right now.
You're pretty worked up.
But then when he started shouting about how anything was possible, I got scared. So it's over. They pretty much destroyed the Dallas Mavericks. Real quick, back to a question I posed to our listening audience. And this came from a story we had in the Stupid News. I know everybody loves to have tattoos all over their bodies now. Everywheres. Everything that happens in your life. Well, I got to tattoo that on me somewhere. I was wondering how many of you had food-related tattoos. Here's a guy who says his friend has a chicken wing tattoo on his arm because he loves chicken wing.
Oh, shoot, Dana, I could see you getting something like that.
I could definitely get behind that.
Here's a guy who tattooed a pickle on his body.
A few people have texted in that they have beer-related tattoos, mugs of beer and things like that.
All right, here's a guy who has a tattoo of the ghost from something called Ghost Energy Drink.
Oh, yeah. I know what that is. I just remembered 2 of my buddies, they have matching tattoos of the Dole banana, and he's skateboarding.
It's adorable.
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely adorable.
Talk about a bonding moment right there.
Here's an individual who was a baker at one point or another, and now they're covered in dessert tattoos. So you got a cupcake here and a donut there.
Oh, I always see chefs, they'll get like a knife on their forearm or like, what do they call it? The fork.
The fork.
I can't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, boy.
I have a carrot on my ankle, says a listener. A carrot on my ankle.
Carrot enthusiast.
And then finally a listener by the name of Bendem and Sendem Jesus says, being 300 pounds, I imagine I'm announcing with my body how much I love food.
A meat fork.
Meat fork. I don't know what that means. Let's see if we can close out the effing hockey season tonight, too. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. Florida can gain their first cup with a win tonight. Twins and Rays are going to try and play the first of 3 tonight at Target Field with the weather. It's iffy. The whole friggin' series is iffy. We'll talk to Dick Bremer about it in about a half hour. Josh's news. I'll tell you what, by damn, Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
You are so obsessed with betting. I don't need to bet.
You're adamant that you're going to win, and I'm adamant that they're not going to win.
But why does money have to be exchanged?
You're a realist.
Like he believes it, you believe it.
Why is that? Well, that's no fun in that.
It's a conversation that you can have, and then Monday it's just like, I told you so. I mean, that's verbal currency.
There's nothing fun there.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
On the over because you're all over the road. You're weaving all over the place.
What are you talking about?
You crashed your vehicle over a median there. You're in the rocks. You know, you could have really hurt somebody.
A Colorado disciplinary board suspended an attorney's law license after she pled guilty to her 3rd DUI in only 18 months. And she even reportedly showed up drunk to her sentencing. Denise Kay's trouble began in March 2022 when she backed into a parked car. Cops noticed that her eyes were bloodshot, and her blood alcohol content measured .298, so she was a tad drunk. That October, a judge sentenced her to a year of probation with a 3-month jail sentence suspended if she were to complete probation. However, Kay struggled to comply. She reported to probation several times while drunk. During a police stop in August of 2023 for suspected DUI, she was instructed to pull into a nearby parking lot, and that's when she struck a patrol car.
You know you just backed into me.
I did.
So you always back into police officers?
No, sir.
Cops arrested her on the second DUI charge and put her in jail. I like to respond to, yes, that is correct. I did back into you. You gotta turn your thingy on.
3 Deweys in 18 months, you say?
3 weeks later, just a couple hours after her court appearance, she was again pulled over and arrested for drunken driving a third time.
Ma'am, you're being placed under arrest for DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol, okay?
She was set to enter a plea to the 3 cases in January, but the judge rejected the plea deal, expressing grave concern about her conduct. The judge called a brief recess, and when she returned, she appeared to be intoxicated, so she was ordered to take a breath test, and her BAC was .324.
So it sounds like she has a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's part of her sentencing is that she.
Oh, God dang it! Everything's going sideways over here.
I hear that. There's a lot of noises.
Noises or not noises.
Yeah,
I try to speak into a microphone that's not turned on. I try to keep a computer quiet, and it makes noises.
She will be going to treatment, so there's some good news. Hopefully she can get it figured out. But yeah, that's a lot in a short amount of time.
I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, Cubby.
A bikini-clad barista smashed a man's windshield amid a fight over the cost of a $22 coffee order. And online admirers, at least most of them, are cheering her on. You can see video of this at 93. You already went, didn't you? You're already looking. Yeah. Check out 93x.com to see the lady in a bikini take it out on a car. 23-year-old Emma Lee captured on surveillance video pulling a hammer during a dispute, which took place at her drive-thru coffee shop, a Taste of Heaven Espresso in South Seattle. Lee said she only damaged the customer's car after he exited his vehicle, approached the drive-thru window, and threw the iced coffee at her. She alleged the man threatened her by saying, "Nobody is going to miss you." It was a threat after screaming, spitting, and trying to pry open the window, the young business owner said. She said the man was a repeat patron at the business and had previously complained about the high price of his order, yet kept coming back. I wonder what brought him back.
I bet it was the bikini, Josh.
Perhaps the bikini?
I forgot about the bikini baristas. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The world we live in. Several chimed in saying she was justified in going after the customer's car. However, others were less impressed by Lee's response, like this person. So you then commit a felony and aggravated assault him? Not a good look, sweet pea. I hope you mend your relationship with your father.
It was a threat. It's okay for him to be outraged about the price of his drinks enough to assault me, and he is over 1.5 feet taller than me, but it's not appropriate for me to respond.
Sweet pea, they said.
Who's that prick?
Yeah, I know. I bet they think, that was quite the post I had right there.
Dude threw a coffee in her face.
Yeah, what's she supposed to do?
Yeah, hell yeah.
She's got a hammer right there.
Most of us are going to react to that.
At least it wasn't a gun. I got a story about that coming up soon here. Lee reported the incident to police, who charged the customer with misdemeanor assault. To recover the cost of the windshield, the buyer may, however, file a lawsuit in a small claims court. But Lee said she's not worried about any possible legal fallout. She believes she was in the right.
By the way, the customer who threw the coffee at her, anyone get a load of his appearance?
Yeah.
He's got like the backwards, was it kangaroo hat?
Yeah,
what is that?
yeah,
Kanga?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And like tiny little sunglasses. It was like 1993 called, and they want him. It was like he was headed off to audition for a Color Me Bad tribute band.
This place is too expensive. I'll see you tomorrow, normal time, with my normal order.
Yeah, same thing.
A woman's facing assault charges after Oklahoma City police said she threatened and scratched a Sonic Drive-In employee with a pocket knife. A worker at the location said it started because Jaylyn Tyner was mad about her burger getting cold. The worker said after the food and shake were remade, she was still unhappy and threw it in his face. Tyner demanded her money back, and after staff refunded her, she proceeded for some reason to get even more upset. Apparently, she was upset that some of the money had blown away in the wind.
Documents say she started beating on the glass windows of the restaurant, and while an employee was trying to shut an entry door, she pulled out a black pocket knife. The employee told police she held the knife out, stopped him from shutting the door, and scraped his arm with the back of it.
What the hell? Sound like my voice is lower than it is.
What is that guy doing?
In the business, I believe they call that puking.
Oh.
I've got a lower voice than what I really have. So she got mad at the wind and took it out on this guy. Tyner seems to get herself in trouble often. She has previous felony convictions for throwing an object at a moving vehicle, possession of controlled dangerous substances, and resisting arrest.
Yeah, I hear you on that one, Cubby.
A 22-year-old McDonald's employee was arrested after she shot at customers during a drive-thru spat. Friday, about 1 a.m., police went to a dispute, which started at the drive-thru of a Central Florida McDonald's, when an unspecified number of customers felt their order was incorrect. Police said an employee, identified as Chastity Gardner, argued with the customers at the window before she threw a drink at them as they tried to drive away. Two of the customers got out. They opened the drive-thru window and tossed the drink at Gardner, who then walked outside with her gun to continue the argument.
Here we go.
And fired at the vehicle as it was leaving the parking lot. The customer's vehicle was struck at least once, thankfully. Nobody was injured. Then more fast food folly as a woman was arrested after robbing the McDonald's she used to work at. Wearing a mask, 33-year-old Leisha Williams couldn't fool anyone. She walked into the restaurant with a gun and a note demanding cash, which was placed inside a bank bag. She was ID'd as the alleged robber by other McDonald's employees who recognized her mannerisms and stature immediately.
Jesus.
And a California man was arrested after setting fire to a McDonald's early Wednesday. Police received a call at 2:38 a.m. that a suspect was seen throwing an incendiary device through the restaurant's window, causing damages estimated to be around $150,000.
Oh, my God. So long, sucker.
No word on a motive. But I bet it's dumb.
Sure it is.
A North Carolina man and woman were arrested after police say they found a bag of cocaine hidden inside a cheeseburger. Deputies said they found the drug when conducting a traffic stop last Tuesday. In addition to finding the cocaine in the cheeseburger, they discovered fentanyl, marijuana, 2 guns, and the seizure anxiety drug clonazepam. 23-year-old D'Anthony Travion Taylor and the passenger in the vehicle, 24-year-old Brianna Smith, both arrested. The sheriff's office posted on Facebook, BK, have it your way, not today.
What the hell?
That's right.
That's cold-blooded.
Yep. A Minneapolis man with a history of targeting Asian women in St. Paul for the jewelry they wore was jailed and charged for 2 more incidents which occurred last month outside a Mung Market in the city's Frogtown neighborhood. The 60-year-old allegedly snatched necklaces off the women who were walking to their cars after shopping at Mungtown Marketplace along Como Avenue. The same man was convicted of similar offenses in 2008 and 2017 and served prison both times. In an interview with St. Paul police in the 2008 incident, he told an investigator older Asian women have more valuable jewelry as part of their culture or religion. The suspect has 9 felony convictions dating back to 1990.
That's his thing, huh?
Yeah, I guess. I had never heard that before. 2 women reported a teenage boy after they were groped Sunday afternoon in Rochester. Police responded to 2 reports claiming a boy on a bike touched the butts of 2 women in 2 separate incidents. The first woman was beginning a bike ride when the boy asked if he could touch her butt. She said no, and she rode off. However, he followed on his bike and grabbed her butt. Another woman claimed after the initial report that she was running. The same boy rode up behind her and slapped her on the butt twice. Officers searched the area but didn't find that suspect.
So
that's
Beavis is
scary.
out there. We just need to find Butthead.
That is terrifying. The suspect in a carjacking in Shakopee over the weekend led police on a short chase, then carjacked and stabbed a second victim in Bloomington before finally being arrested in Robbinsdale. Bloomington police confirmed a man carjacked someone at knife point in Shakopee Sunday afternoon. Police pursued the vehicle but terminated their pursuit. The suspect ended up in Bloomington, where they carjacked another person at a gas station. The suspect stabbed the victim in the neck after a brief struggle and fled the scene in the victim's car.
Jesus.
The suspect was later arrested in Robbinsdale, and they're currently in custody with charges pending. The stabbing victim is expected to survive. The latest preliminary quarterly crime figures from the FBI show dramatic decreases, a 26% drop in murders, robberies down by nearly 18%, and violent crime overall down 15% in the first quarter of the year compared to the same time last year. Jeff Asher, co-founder of AH Datalytics, which tracks and analyzes criminal justice data, pointed out that in 2020, they saw a roughly 30% increase in murders, followed by another smaller increase in 2021.
We had this really big surge, and then it started to come down in 2022.
He estimated overall there was a sizable decline in violent crime last year and said it's likely murder rates will largely be some of the lowest they've reported in 60 years. Though we added, you're still talking about 18 or 19,000 murder victims nationwide, so we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there you go. Some good news there, right?
Yeah. Kind of surprising, you know. It just doesn't sound, you hear so many things, it doesn't sound like that's the way it would go.
Mm-hmm.
The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is warning people about recent scam calls impersonating employees from its office.
I don't want the people to feel like they did anything wrong. They're the victims. But these spoofers or these scam artists are out there.
A post on X said people are receiving scam calls requesting cash and electronic payments for arrest warrants, jury duties, and other legal matters.
We were shocked that people were calling our office, asked did we receive the funds or something like that, and we didn't know what they were talking about.
The Sheriff's Office said people who receive suspicious phone calls should not give out any personal information and then contact their local law enforcement agency.
It'd be embarrassing to be caught up in one of those deals.
Scumbags. I almost got caught up in one.
What happened to Cubby?
I had a police department, well, an alleged police department reach out and same type of thing. Hey, we're having this fundraiser. Want to know if you want. And at first I'm like, oh, I'd like to. And then I realized, wait a minute, the details are a little hazy on what's going on here.
Really?
Yeah. That was, years ago. I'm going to guess that was probably 9-10 years ago. Something like that.
So you damn near handed him your checkbook.
I did. And I knew someone at the department, so I called him up and I'm like, hey, I had this weird call. I'll donate if it's a thing going on. And he's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Dude, that's a close call.
Yeah. Rob Stark on Game of Thrones. Richard Madden is 38. Anyone watching House of the Dragon season 2?
Never saw it.
No.
Oh, my God.
How do you like it?
They remind you immediately in that episode you're watching Game of Thrones. I almost barfed. And they didn't even show anything. Oh, still disturbed.
What was it?
I don't want to give it away.
What do you mean? Come on.
Well, I don't want to get destroyed via text message. I'm not going to give anything away.
Write it down. I want to say it. You almost threw up.
No, don't say it. Yeah, it was just the subject matter was tough. Very difficult.
I like puke-worthy subject matter.
Yeah, like I said, it's not even something they showed. It
couldn't be as bad as that scene from The Boys that somebody texted us about from the most recent season, Josh, involving a human centipede.
Yeah, I heard, no.
That was very disturbing to read.
No, it's the subject matter is more disturbing as to what happened. And the noise.
The noise.
Yeah, it was but I really enjoyed the season premiere.
Well, that's great.
Like, remember American History X, the curb scene?
Oh, sure I do.
They showed nothing, but that's one of the most violent things I've ever seen.
I understand.
Yeah. People are texting you the answer if you want to know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Read that text.
Okay, the first one I see here about killing something?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I guess, yeah.
That ain't good.
I'll have to tell you a little more off the air. Paul McCartney, 82 today.
Oh, F me.
Yes, the sound. People are texting in, the sound. Sympathies to book collector Jesus and his family. Sadly, they lost their little dog Cookie suddenly yesterday. So sorry.
Cooks McGooks?
Yeah, that's sad. Thank you to Kira Stone Jesus, streaming with the 93X app in Georgia while he's there for work. All Sack, No Shaft Jesus texts in a huge shout out to the VA hospital who took great care of him over the weekend. And happy birthday to Short But Fat Jesus. That's 93X News.
All-time great broadcaster and Minnesota Twins ambassador, Dick Bremer.
That's a heck of a call right there.
Oh, my goodness gracious. There it goes!
On the Half-Ass Morning Show.
Here's a question from a baseball fan. It says, you played with Harper, Judge, and Stanton. Who has wowed you the most with the sound the ball makes off their bat?
Oh, my God. That's extremely power right there. But definitely Harper.
Harper?
Yeah. I mean, it's a different sound when you're coming from the minor leagues to the big league.
Yeah, there's audio of Juan Soto from the New York Yankees. He was mic'd up. And I don't know why everyone's so thrilled by this. He made a play while talking. Ooh. But every time that happens when they mic these players up, everybody puts it on all the websites. All right, Randy Shaver calling in from the Iron Range. Hello, Randy.
Good morning.
In studio with us, comic C. Willie Miles. Hello, C. Willie.
What's up, what's up?
Hey, good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to be seen.
Absolutely. I know you and Josh missed each other last time around because Josh was sick, so it's nice to see the both of you back together.
You weren't bad company.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. But I know we always miss Josh when he's gone. Absolutely. And on the phone to talk Twins baseball, the damn mayor is here, Dick Bremer. Hello, Dick.
I'm doing fine. How's everybody there?
Real well.
Oh, man, we're doing all right. What's on your mind this morning?
Hoping the weather holds off so the Twins can continue to play baseball as well as they played it in this homestand so far. But I'm guessing the weather is going to be a factor in this Tampa Bay series.
Man, I mean, and probably all three games, really, honestly. I don't know how they're going to work this out. You know, it's pretty common to have maybe one game, but this week looked so terrible, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, it's going to be interesting because it's Tampa Bay's only time, of course, coming to Target Field, so they got to try to figure out a way to get in the game in. They can't, might have another doubleheader like they did in the Oakland series. Who knows?
Yeah, they're scheduled to at least try to play the first of three tonight at Target Field. The scheduled starting pitchers are Pablo Lopez and Aaron Savali, but the weather, as everybody knows, has been incredible around here lately. Randy, did you get dumped on last night up on the range?
We sure did, yeah. And it's projected to rain pretty much the entire day today. So, and it looks like from what I've seen since I've been here, they've gotten their fair share of rain this spring into summer as well. So, pretty wet, lots of mosquitoes.
Yeah. Oh. Did it interrupt your play? It didn't interrupt any lovemaking or anything for you, did it?
Oh, gosh, no.
Okay.
No.
He's a professional.
He's a professional.
Powered through it.
Oh, dude. So, yeah, we got our fingers crossed we get to see a game tonight. Like Dick Bremer said, especially with the way they've been playing lately. They've won 5 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And Carlos Correa is absolutely destroying the baseball, isn't he, Dick?
He sure is, and isn't it fun to see Correa, Lewis, and Buxton all in the lineup on a regular basis? And how about Matt Wallner, what he's doing with the St. Paul Saints? It looks like he's going to be up here sooner rather than later because he's absolutely smashing the ball at AAA. So this Twins team right now, they're in pretty good shape. 5.5 games, I guess, behind Cleveland, just a half game behind Kansas City. So, yeah, it's been a fun product to watch over the last week.
Carlos Correa has earned himself American League Player of the Week honors. He went 17 for 31 last week. That's a 548 batting average, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, 9 runs scored. He led the majors in hits, total bases, runs scored. He had 5 hits in one game against the Colorado Rockies last Wednesday. Absolutely on a tear.
And he's credited Royce Lewis, believe it or not, for a lot of that because Lewis typically hits behind him, and the other team doesn't want to pitch to Lewis with men on base, so they're throwing more strikes to Correa. And, he's finding the seats, getting base hits.
Yeah, I love seeing it, and I didn't consider what you mentioned there about Royce Lewis. That makes perfect sense. And he's making a case for maybe finding a spot on the All-Star team. We'll talk about the All-Star team because they gave their first little voting update a couple days ago. We'll get to that in a minute. But Correa wasn't the only Twin to be honored yesterday. Austin Martin's home run robbery in the nightcap against Oakland Sunday night was named Big League Baseball's Play of the Week. That was a great, great play.
It sure was, and you have to remind yourself when you see a play like that, he hasn't spent all that much time out there in center field. And, he tracked that ball like he was, forgive me, Puckett Hunter, guys like that. Buxton, he took the right route, the right angle, timed his leap perfectly, and he looked like he, grew up in center field instead of, trying to, prove himself at this level to be a good utility player.
Mm-hmm. And man, does he have great hair.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He's got a cute hairdo. Kind of reminds me of me back in the day.
Oh, man.
I had that hairdo cooking for a while, and then it went bye-bye on me quickly. Actually, well, I guess maybe slower than most guys. I haven't followed the Tampa Bay Rays, but let me guess. Is it the same as always? They're not the greatest team in the world, but they have solid pitching. Is that still the case for the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah, they're not pitching as well, and they're not hitting as well, and unfortunately they find themselves in a division that has two really, really good teams in the Yankees and the Orioles. So they're in last place in the division, a few games below 500. Kind of a bad run differential, if you like that stat. They're minus, I think, 71 runs scored this year. So they've had some injuries like every team does. So they've been really, really good for a long time without much of a payroll, and now maybe things are starting to catch up with them a little bit.
All right. We'll see if they can play some ball this week. Sunday, of course, was Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Dick Bremer and C. Willie Miles, because we didn't get a chance to dump that on you. Any stories from Father's Day from either one of you?
I got one. And this has nothing to do really with Father's Day. It's just that my mother-in-law, we spent some time with my mother-in-law, and you know how she feels about Dick Bremer.
She loves Dick Bremer.
She's a fan.
Loves him.
We all are.
And if I hear this one more time, he's no Dick Bremer. He's no Dick Bremer. She's 95, Dick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's your biggest fan, and ever since you did that little call to her, that little cameo birthday call, and how great the Twins were going to be, and they sucked that year.
Oh,
I mean, and I told you about that. She's gotten over that.
My stock dropped, didn't it?
And then, but when you left, oh my God, it was like they sold the Twins. Like they literally sold the team to Hecker. And she refused to. She listens. She looks at the game, but she turns the volume down.
She watches the game now, but turns the volume down.
She knows all the players.
Yeah.
She knows who's coming up. She knows every person on the team, every coach. She doesn't, and she listens to it every once in a while. If the bases gets loaded.
Does she keep score?
No.
I mean, keep score with hits and this, and
no.
How folks have the chart in front of them.
Yeah. She knows everybody's batting average. She knows when a pitcher comes on the mound, she'll be like, I'm going to make cookies. She knows it's over.
We love having people like that around.
Impressive.
A loyal fan.
It was a cool Father's Day, but I got to spend a little time with her.
Dick Bremer, did you get a chance to get together on Father's Day with the family?
Well, actually, in between, I was with my daughter on Saturday, and then I'm down here in Florida or Florida, whichever you prefer. My son's a minor league broadcaster down here, so we spent yesterday with him. Today's his birthday, and you were asking about Father's Day stories. My son made me a father on Father's Day back in 1995. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
All right, yeah, I forgot about that. That's a great story. Yeah. Well, a couple days ago, Father's Day, the Yankees and Boston Red Sox matched up on ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. Big surprise, right? Yankees and Red Sox.
That's rarely happens.
Right.
Rarely.
On Sunday Night Baseball. I don't know if anyone saw this interview, but Red Sox first baseman Tristan Casas. I know I've seen him. I don't know how do you say the last name?
Casas, I believe.
Casas, okay. Red Sox first baseman Tristan Casas told a story on Father's Day about the time his father was taken to jail during one of his Little League games.
I come back to the dugout crying. That's what a 6-year-old does. He sits on the bench and he cries and he doesn't want to go out there when his team's playing defense. So my dad, being the dad that he is, trying to teach me the lessons that he did in his own special way, came into the dugout. He actually grabbed me by my shirt, dragged me to the line, and Looney Tunes style kicked me out onto the field. Actually had one of my best friends, his mom, actually called child services on my dad, had him arrested at the field. I see my dad go away in the cop car, gets arrested, sent the night to jail.
Oh my God.
Child Protective Services were called, and his dad spent the night in jail.
Were you a better player for it?
He says he was.
He says
there you go.
Yeah.
He still thinks about that lesson he was taught anytime he takes the field. I know he went kind of fast there, so just in case you missed it, this is when Casas was a little leaguer. He made an out at the plate. He was crying. He didn't want to go out onto the field.
Right.
His dad came into the dugout, grabbed him by the shirt, and as he put it, Looney Tunes style kicked him out onto the field. Someone called the cops. They arrested him. That's a great story. But he says...
Reminds me of a story of Twins fans remember Jake Cave.
Yes.
Who's still playing, and but not with the Twins. And he told a story about in a Little League game, he didn't run hard to first base, and his mother came out of the stands, grabbed him, put him in the car, and drove him home.
Hello.
And Jake's not the fastest guy in the world, but what I remember more than anything, every ball he ran out hard because his mother, when he was, 7, 8 years old, didn't like the way he ran to first base, so they went home.
That's incredible.
That's it. You ain't gonna run, then you might as well just go home.
Just
There's
go home.
something a little bit more powerful when it's your mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little more powerful, and I don't know, for a little boy, a little more embarrassing, I think, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
oh, my God, that's great.
When you're out there playing Little League ball, I don't know, you kind of get the first feeling of being a tough guy, right? I'm on my own out here playing ball. Then when your mother steps into the mix, that's embarrassing for a little boy. I know things have dramatically changed as far as how invested parents are into their kids' athletics. We've had that conversation up and down on this program. Dick Bremer, when you were a young kid playing ball, were your parents invested in it at any level?
Yeah, they came to my basketball games and baseball games, never said a word, didn't complain about the umpiring or anything like that. But, they were supportive. They probably, weren't given my athletic prowess, not the proudest parents in the stands all the time, but they were there.
Okay, but do you ever remember your mom or dad getting on your ass at all about how you performed out on the field or on the court?
No, not at all. And I my dad wasn't much of an athlete, and my mother wasn't either. So I think they were, whenever I did do something on the basketball court that, looked accomplished to any degree, they thought that was pretty good because neither one of them could do anything.
I think the same could be said about my folks. My dad was an athlete as a high school kid. He played football, he played basketball, he played baseball. But he was never a competitive guy, to that level. And also, once I started playing hockey, my dad grew up in southwestern Minnesota milking cows. He didn't know jack squat about hockey. So, and that became my favorite sport as a kid. He never said a word to us about hockey because he didn't know what the hell was going on out there in the first place. Wow. I think that's the way to go. I think sometimes when your folks were serious athletes, that's when they become a little overbearing. That's just my personal experience.
Or wanted to be.
Or wanted to be. Right.
And they trying to live vicariously through you. I saw that as a coach, when you're coaching players and their parents are sitting right behind the bench. And that's tough. That's tough.
Mm-hmm. Randy Shaver, the old man, ever come out there and pull you off the field?
No, my dad was a lot like how Dick described his parents. I could hear my mom from a mile away. My mom had a distinct voice when she was cheering.
Yeah.
It was always positive. It was never negative. But my dad never said a word. The only time my dad ever did anything, I think I was a junior in high school, and I was a pretty good track runner at the time, 400-meter runner, and I lost a race at home at Kingston Stadium. Dick will know where that is. And I lost a race to a kid from Iowa City High who was a year younger than I was. And I rarely lost a race in 400 meters. And my dad had taken the day to come watch me. It was like a 4 o'clock meet. And my dad worked 3 jobs, so it was very rare that he was ever at any track meet, but he showed up for that one saw me get beat.
Wow.
And as I went to grab all my stuff, I looked to see where he was sitting. He was gone. He was gone. So I ended up, I ran like the anchor leg of the 4x4 and all that. We won that race and all that. So I go home, I drive home. I asked my dad, I go, where did you go? He goes, well, you lost, so I left. Okay.
Found another part-time job.
Don't ever lose there. He's not going to stick around.
I'm not going to stick around to see a loser.
I took time off for this.
Another part-time job.
You're saying he picked up a fourth job, is he, Willie?
He picked up a fourth job.
It was one of those races. I don't know why. Wow. I mean, I usually ran the 400 meters hard all the way around, but this was the one race where I thought I would try to be a little tricky and not go out as fast at the beginning, just to kind of see if because I didn't expect anybody to beat me. So I was kind of experimenting, I guess, a little bit with it. Well, it backfired and I lost.
Yeah.
And I said that to him, too, and he goes, well, that was dumb. Why'd you do that?
You got a little too cocky. You got a little too comfortable.
So I learned a couple of lessons that day that, you always give it your best regardless of what's going on. So, anyway.
There you go. Another big surprise here. Aaron Judge leads all players in the first little big league all-star voting update. It's kind of repeat offenders, isn't it, Dick Bremer, year after year, it seems to me.
Yeah, and then the Dodgers, thought they were going to get another full season out of Mookie Betts, and he gets hit by a pitch and breaks his hand, and so that's going to be a big blow for them. And it's just Aaron Judge is a reminder of how good these guys are when they're healthy, and when they're not doing well on the field, there's usually a reason why. Judge, broke his toe last year and tried to play with it for a while and never really was right. But when these guys are healthy and localizing it again, Correa, now his feet are fine, and he's gotten some infield hits he wouldn't have gotten a year ago, and his feet were really barking. And when top-flight guys, it's true in any sport, when they're healthy, they can do things that are just incredible.
Yeah, you see here we got Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Bryce Harper, Ohtani, Betts, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Jose Altuve, Jose Ramirez, kind of the same list of characters. I'm happy to see Luis Ariz in there on the National League side. This is just the first All-Star voting update. Obviously, things can change. There's Christian Yelich. What I guess is notable is that Mike Trout has only garnered 250,000 votes or something like that. He's ninth place among American League outfielders because he's injured, correct? But usually he doesn't matter what his situation is. He's way up top in the voting list. So I guess that's one notable thing here. We'll see how it all turns out. The Texas Rangers host the All-Star game coming up in about a month. Wow, what a stretch of time for Rangers fans. The World Series and now the All-Star game.
Yeah, and as the World Series champion manager, Bruce Bochy will be managing the team, and it's very remindful. I think the Rangers will have a lot of players there, and the Twins didn't host the All-Star game after the 91 World Series, but they had like 8 All-Stars, coaches and managers and everybody that went out to San Diego for the All-Star game the next year. It's fun to... the baseball All-Star game is different. They don't even have a NFL game anymore, and it's still something that I'd really love to watch, to see all these great baseball players compete against each other with nothing at stake really anymore, but it's still quite a spectacle for me.
I agree with you. One of the best nights of my life was watching the All-Star game at Target Field in person. What was that, 10 years ago now? Wow, was that a terrific game, a terrific night. The whole schmear was just fantastic. And, of course, being a big Twins fan, what I really thought was special was watching Glenn Perkins and Kurt Suzuki close it out for the American League. I still really love the All-Star game, so I guess I don't know, I get a little aggravated that it's the same characters over and over again, but obviously some of them deserve to be there over and over again.
And the issue that the baseball All-Star game always has every year, should every team be represented? And I think they should. I think it's you're showcasing both leagues, Major League Baseball, and I like it when as bad as the White Sox are, somebody's going to represent the White Sox, and I think that's the way it should be.
Is that currently the way it is? I don't remember.
I think so.
It's always been that way. Yeah, It's always been that way, and I hope they never change it, because Twins fans know we've had some pretty lean years over the years, but I still would watch the All-Star game. Just, Rod Carew is on some bad baseball teams, but he went to the All-Star game every year. And the one thing I wish they do is let the guys wear their team's uniforms instead of having special American League or National League uniforms. I don't like that at all.
I'm with you, Dick Bremer. That aggravates me, too, with the cute uniforms. Let them wear their regular gear. And you're right. Okay, I thought maybe they'd gone away from that rule where every team has to be represented. I'm glad that
they did that. You'd go crazy, Nick, because it'd be all Yankees and all Red Sox and all Cardinals and all Cubs. So.
Yes, you're right. I mean, I remember how many years ago was it when Ron Coomer represented the Twins?
Yeah. Coom Dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, boy. All right, the College Baseball World Series is going on. I'm not much of a college baseball fan. Maybe you'll get a kick out of this. From what I hear, maybe you already have heard of this kid. There's a pitcher for the University of Tennessee who has a handlebar mustache with the wax and everything. So Tennessee fans call him Volley Fingers. Are you following that?
Wow. It's creative.
Volley Fingers. His real name is Kirby Connell, something like that, also known as Volley Fingers. He's a relief pitcher. He uses, like I said, the mustache wax and the whole routine. And he says he makes sure that it's curled and greased up prior to every game. He gets it all loaded up and ready to go.
Well, it's one thing to have the name. If you're going to do something like that, then you better be pretty damn good at what you're doing, too, because that's quite the legend to live up to. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be compared to a guy like Raleigh. But, yeah, I mean, if you go out there and stink it up, you're going to look like a fool with that damn mustache on your face. Some guys can get away with that, Anyone here ever tried the mustache with the mustache wax?
No, I have not.
No.
Dick, did you have a mustache back in the day?
I did. In fact, I got in trouble at Channel 11 before Randy showed up there because I had a 2-week vacation. I came back with a mustache, and the management at Channel 11 at the time didn't like that at all.
Oh, no.
You were too...
This was back when, Tom Selleck was in his heyday, and I was going to try to look like Tom Selleck. But I looked more like Snidely Whiplash from the Bullwinkle commercial.
He was no Tom Selleck.
He was too sexy for television is what he was.
Yeah.
Randy would...
And I was just the opposite. I wasn't sexy enough to be on television.
I don't know about that. Randy Shaver, have you folks always had a policy against mustaches over there?
There's no policy. There's really no set policy there. I think you see reporters on all the stations with different facial hair. We've got a few guys with beards and things like that. There are very few anchors that I know that have, facial hair. Mark Curtis used to have the mustache, if you remember Mark
Ron Burgundy.
Don't get Big Ron.
Yeah, the most famous mustache in broadcasting.
Right. But, I think it's pretty rare.
I suppose. Yeah, you're right. Now that you've mentioned it, I see some cats on your television show with facial hair. Hey, real quick.
When I grew up as a kid, the anchors had, like, Walter Cronkite had a mustache.
I remember that,
oh, yeah,
sure.
You're right.
Sure, he did.
All the guys back then, Robinson.
I don't remember Robinson.
Max Robinson. Yep.
I'm telling you, I'm old school, man. I remember those anchors back in the day, but they were network guys.
Yeah.
Like Burgundy.
Like Ron Burgundy.
Like Burgundy.
We mentioned yesterday that no one's paying attention to the high school baseball title games here in town. They couldn't play yesterday because of the rain. They've rescheduled their championship games for Friday at Target Field. Just wanted to announce the matchups. Class A, Parker's Prairie versus Springfield. Double A, Rockford plays Foley. Triple A, Matamidi, Totino Grace. And quadruple, you go East Ridge and Mounds View. So there you go. And one final note. Dick, you were talking about going to a town ball game recently, right?
Yeah.
Where were you?
I went to Piers to watch some town ball.
Okay. Randy Shaver and I are going to hit a town ball game this weekend, aren't we, Randy Shaver?
Maple Lake on Saturday. I'm surprised you're even going to Maple Lake.
Friggin' Maple Lake. I'm going back.
Yeah, I think there's a warrant out, so maybe the handlebar mustache would be something you'd think about wearing.
Randy, you've heard the story enough times. I did nothing wrong in Maple Lake, and the entire town kicked my ass at a street party in 1991. Wow.
Right.
I did nothing wrong.
Forgot.
But it's
Did you
time.
say even the mayor got involved?
At one point, when I was able to look through my one eye that hadn't swollen shut yet, see, Willie Miles? When I saw a guy, I swear to God, he was wearing a sash that said mayor. That's how many people kicked my ass on the streets of Maple Lake in 1991. What did you do? I didn't do anything. I haven't been back since. But they invited Randy Shaver and I to come out there on Saturday for a town ball game. We're going to throw out a first pitch, that whole schmear. But it's my first time back in Maple Lake, and vengeance will be mine.
Don't hit the batter.
So I don't have a lot of information over who's playing or anything like that, but I think the way it's set up is Randy's going to throw out the first pitch for a noon game. I'll be there for a 2:30 game to throw out the first pitch. But this is we're all joking aside about the incident from 1991. We had such a fun time last time we went to Brownton for this. We really appreciate the invite, and we'll see folks out there on Saturday for the town.
Just a shout-out to Ryan Grams, who puts this all together. Last year, they did this and raised quite a bit of money for my cancer fund. And, again, the proceeds on Saturday will go towards Minnesota's cancer community. So big shout-out to Ryan Grams, who puts this all together. It's
going to be a wonderful event and for a good cause. And Ryan, yes, he's the guy who contacted me as well. So, Dick, if you're not doing anything on Saturday, they probably won't beat my ass again if you're hanging out with me.
We'll just go with the fact that you guys are going to have a great time. I haven't seen the ballpark in Maple Lake, but that's one of the great things. You go to these small towns, and the jewel of the town sometimes is the ballpark, and that might be the case in Maple Lake too.
All right, yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. But think about it. Get back to me if you want to escort me to the.
That's what I asked.
It wouldn't be bad having somebody Dick's size in your corner.
Yeah, I mean, he's a living legend for Pete's sake, and he's a big dude. Just text me.
And he's a ball player, too.
And a ball player.
Right.
Oh, do you have games this weekend, Dick, in the 60 and over league?
No, I'm not playing this week. So
call me. Wear a sleeveless shirt so they know you mean business.
Aren't you a little worried that this is a trap?
Yeah, trust me, Josh, that's entered my mind before that this is a setup, that this is a booby trap. But we'll find out. I'm man enough I'm going to show up and find out, Cubby.
I will make sure there's a 2:30 game.
I better look at the schedule. Maybe they just want me there at 2:30 because 4 p.m. is happy hour. They want to get rid of me and then go have some beers. I don't know. But Maple Lake is a shady place. Thanks, Dick Bremer, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
You got it.
We'll hopefully get to watch some Twins baseball tonight. We'll see about that weather. Yeah, it was a long time ago, see Willie Miles. I went to the Maple Lake street dance. Yeah. I was a young guy. We're drinking beer, having a few laughs. I got in a bit of a tussle with one dude on the street there. Street dance happening. Probably some overplayed tune like Mustang Sally is cranking in the background or something. Brown-eyed girl. I don't know what it was. And I got into kind of a little set-off with this one character. And the two of us began to scrap. Well, I guess I didn't know that the motto in Maple Lake is if one of us fights, we all fight.
Oh, man.
And next thing you know, I got tuned up to where I'm running down the street chasing after the van full of my friends that I came to the event. And they're driving out of town because they're afraid they're going to get their ass kicked. And I'm running behind saying, help me, get me out of Maple Lake. So when Ryan contacted us a while back and said, we're having a town ball party in Maple Lake, it would be fun if you showed up. I had to say yes because we got to put an end to this one way or another.
Right.
Yeah, right.
We got to squash this one way or another.
God, I would die laughing if that guy showed up at the ballpark.
Oh, my God.
Finish what he started.
Round 2.
Finish what he started.
I remember a little bit what he looked like, the guy that started this whole nightmare.
Well, he might not recognize you not being all bruised up and bloody and stuff like that.
Yeah, now that my face has regained its original form.
Right,
Yeah.
it's normal.
Friggin' Maple Lake. I'm coming back. Dicks.
Right.
For a good cause.
I don't know, man. I would have passed on that. That's nothing. I don't go back to the scene of the crime.
I hear you, see,
There's
William.
still some of your plasma right there on the one and only street.
Right. They got to sign up.
Just a chalk outline of Nick.
This is where it went down.
Dude, they got a chalk outline of my 1991 body still on the street.
A plaque.
I mean, I couldn't believe fists were coming from angles that I didn't know were possible.
Which one of y'all kicked me?
Yeah, it was like Chris Tucker. Which one of y'all kicked me? That's what it was. All right.
Oh, my God. There's a town ball, there's a field right across the street from my mother-in-law's house.
Is that right?
My brother-in-law was a coach at Greenwald.
Greenwald.
I love town ball. If I go there in the summertime, if there's a game, I always go to a game. Spring Hill. All these little towns out there have baseball.
That's great to watch. Right across the street
It really is. Right across the street, yes.
I'll tell you what.
Beautiful manicured field. Like they say, you go to these small towns. Sometimes that's the best looking thing in town. It's a baseball field.
It didn't sound like Dick wanted to come with me.
No, it didn't sound like
that's not at all.
He politely declined in his own way.
He did. He kind of changed the subject. Hey, it's really pretty out there.
Throwing out the pitch, the pitches, that's a lot tougher than people think, man.
Well, the last time I had an opportunity, I blew it. I airmailed it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You know, I did it for the Twins, right? I did it at the Twins game.
Oh, yeah. How'd you do?
Yeah, I did. I represented St. Cloud State. It was nice. Threw a nice, slow 62-mile-an-hour curve.
62?
Yeah.
That's not slow.
That's slow, man.
No, well, no, not for
I was
an average.
Man, I was like 15 years younger.
Oh, you were a younger guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I should have been throwing that heater.
Well, I'd
but
say
I wasn't confident enough.
Nerves, that's all.
Coming off of that mound, you know.
It's different on the hill, yeah.
See, Willie shook off the catcher.
Yeah. He wanted heat. You threw a curveball. You slowed it down.
It was the Twins mascot.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I shook him. I did. I threw him on the mound. And when they say your name, man, that's scary.
Did you get scared?
Pitch. Yeah, my heart was pounding.
Well, it's only natural.
And I worked with the guy that used to play for the Gophers, and he was telling me, like, I'm talking for a month. I threw the ball in my backyard with this guy, trying to get the right angle.
You got warmed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't go out there cold. I've seen people do it, and it's horrible.
Well, yeah, but results vary.
It's on YouTube.
It is. We always talk about how interesting it is. You got a person that's an incredible athlete in their sport, and they can't throw a baseball.
Can't throw a baseball.
I tried to put too much mustard on it, and I'll say it again. Had there been someone standing in the right-handed batter's box, it would have hit him in the jaw. I just kind of burned it, up above the. Randy Shaver, are you going to stick around, or are you throwing that first pitch and getting the hell out of there on Saturday?
I'm going to stick around for a little bit, probably not till the 2:30 game. Though.
Maybe I'll show up early and run into you.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there around 11:30, and I'll probably be there through the first couple innings of the noon game.
Why don't you stand in the batter's box while I throw my first pitch?
Oh yeah, on the right side.
All right, Boston Celtics are all done. They finally put a close to the NBA season, Randy Shaver. They won the damn thing. They destroyed Dallas in Game 5. They really could have swept the series if they wanted to.
I think so.
I really think they tanked that game.
Mm-hmm. Like we said the other day, I think Dallas kind of did the Timberwolves deal where we're not going to lose this in a sweep. We're at least going to win one. And I don't think the Celtics really minded losing Game 4 because they realized they were going to come back home. And, winning at home, there's just something special about that. And we saw it last night after it was over. Big celebration in Boston. And rightly so. They were the best team. They were the best team in the NBA. And they proved it again last night. And they've got pieces together that, they could do it again. Easily could do it again. So
I don't know about easily, but they could do it again.
I think they can. I mean, they're young enough, and they've got
and God darn it, people like
great
them.
Coaching. They got a great front office. They've got all the things in place to be I won't call them a dynasty, but they got all things in place to be pretty good for years to come.
Man, I'm so hyped right now.
Uh-oh.
Anything's possible.
KG.
Anything's possible.
That was just the weirdest moment.
It really was.
When KG just melted down there. What was that? I don't know, 7 or 8, 10 years ago. So it's the Celtics' 18th NBA world title, which I believe breaks their tie with the Los Angeles Lakers for most championships in league history. Am I right about that?
I don't know the answer to that.
Somebody look that up. I thought that was the deal that they.
That's what I had read. Yes.
Okay.
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
Oh, the dude last night, did a callback to Kevin Garnett's "Anything Is Possible." I thought that was lazy. Here's Bay Stater Jesus. Bay Stater Jesus texted in and said he's a Boston Celtics fan. He said, banner number 18, and he sent me a black and white photo of Red Auerbach lighting a cigar.
Yep.
Celtics fans. You're like Maple Lake people. You can't trust them. Jaylen Brown was the finals MVP. Is that correct?
He was.
Okay. He and Tatum are the pimps of that outfit. I was very happy to watch Luka Doncic fail. I was. But as soon as that was made official, I got annoyed by another Boston team winning a title. So, it ain't easy being a Wolves fan.
It ain't.
No.
Let's see if...
But you know what? They deserved it. They were really the best team all year.
Well, yeah, they won, 64 games during the regular season. They
dominated in the playoffs. I mean,
they went 16-3, I think, in the playoffs.
Yeah, right. They just cruised.
Well, I have a friend. He hates Boston Celtics so bad. I mean, he's a big Lakers fan. And he always says, well, of course they won that many games. They play 70 games at home. I'm like, dude, that's not possible. No, they do.
I don't think that's accurate.
No, it isn't.
Let's see if
it's not.
Let's see if we can close out the effing hockey season tonight, too, so Randy doesn't completely lose his temper. You're ready. As you mentioned yesterday, Randy, you're ready for all this to be over.
I am ready. I think it goes way too long. I don't think there's many people that disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially hockey. I'm sorry. We're almost to July and we're still playing hockey. It's just crazy.
To be honest, I didn't know they were still playing.
You did not know they were still playing?
I thought that was over.
Okay.
I thought that Memorial Day was the last game.
Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. Final starts at 7 o'clock tonight on Channel 5. The Florida Panthers can win their first cup if they beat Edmonton tonight, and I hope it happens. I do. I read that after the Oilers whooped Florida in Game 4 by a final of 8-1. Did you hear this, C. Willie Miles and Cubby? Shania Twain went into the Oilers locker room and hyped them up after their big win.
Did you hear the fans going nuts for Shania?
No.
Yeah, they went nuts. They were singing at the top of their lungs.
What are they singing?
Whatever her uh-oh song is.
That was great. They're pretty good at Shania, too, here.
Okay, I don't know her music terribly well.
They showed her, and they were going crazy.
They love her.
Yeah. That song.
Man.
Something about a woman or something?
Like feels like a sandwich.
Oh, gosh.
Sandwich would be so good right now.
They call her the queen of country pop, Shania Twain. So I guess the players were just beyond pumped for Shania Twain to come into the locker room. And so I guess the Panthers have no chance. It's over. Or Edmonton will come back. And
right.
Shania Twain's in on this now.
She's the original Carrie Underwood.
The original Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, I can go along with that.
What do you mean by that?
Carrie Underwood before Carrie Underwood was a Carrie Underwood.
This the big pop country star?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was somebody before they were somebody. So there was a somebody before you became somebody.
Okay. Sure, fair enough.
There was somebody else that was that person.
So there you go. I remember, we're about ready to I think things are headed in the right direction. Hulk Hogan is going to join us on the program here shortly. Randy Shaver in studio. Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Does he have the world's biggest entourage or what? There are so many people out there.
Are there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep them back. Keep them back. I know they want to meet us pretty badly.
No, I don't think it's us.
But speaking of Shania Twain, I remember WWE wrestler Kevin Owens on one episode of WWE Raw, I think I can't remember, Wapple, do you remember this? There was some scenario where Kevin Owens just professed his undying love for Shania Twain. Do you remember the scenario?
I don't.
They love. I mean, he's Canadian,
right?
So yeah, they just absolutely worship the ground she walks on. And imagine if Geddy Lee had been at the game too. My God, Canadians' heads would have blown smooth off of their bodies. I think if he's the lead singer and bass player for Rush. C. Willie Miles, if you weren't familiar with it.
It looks like Kevin Owens got on stage with Shania Twain at her concert.
That's
one time,
right.
And he said that it was a boyhood dream has come true.
That's right. I think they showed the highlights of that on WWE Raw, where he was in the crowd. I think he had a sign.
I love Shania.
Yes, yes. Like WWE fans bring signs to their events, he brought a sign to a Shania show. He got her on. He got himself on stage. Right, that was the deal.
That's really funny.
Oh, cripes. Well, Randy Shaver, I suppose we can wrap it up. We got a special guest, so we could probably wrap up a little bit early. But we hope that the weather doesn't keep you from having too much fun up there on the Iron Range, Randy.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out today. I just know that the mosquitoes are enjoying life up here. So,
I bet.
We'll see how we do.
Chewing the ass right off of you?
Well, that's very hard to do, but they're taking their fair share of blood. Let's put it that way.
Did you and the family sit down and play quarters or chandeliers or anything last night? Or
3, 2.
We did not. We played a little Uno last night.
Oh, no. Josh had a temper tantrum once while playing Uno.
No, dominoes.
Dominoes.
Yeah, Uno is just something my wife has never lost. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of temper tantrums, but I did in a domino.
Your wife has never lost the game of Uno?
Oh, I take that back. One time, I beat her one time. And a listener got me a plaque. He did. Commemorating that.
Wow.
Yeah, one time out of, I don't know, millions of times we've played Uno. She wins every time. It's ridiculous.
That's effing hilarious.
That's my wife at Yahtzee.
Yahtzee?
Oh, is that right?
Oh,
nice. I love Yahtzee.
I love to play it.
She's not a kind of person you want to be around when she's winning, though. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
really?
It's like,
she's a bad winner?
Oh, she's a horrible winner.
Uh-oh.
Like, you know.
She gets cocky and rubs it in your face.
Constantly.
I love games with great strategy. That's why I love Yahtzee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, Willie, so we were playing dominoes. My wife and I, we were up, my parents used to have a cabin, and we were up there. And she had beat me, 30 times in a row. And I took a domino, and I threw it at the wall out of rage, and then immediately said, I may have overreacted in that moment.
Yeah. He caught himself.
So tired of losing. I couldn't believe. Like, I can't win one. We've been at this for hours.
Right. Just about ready to put a chair through a window, and you caught yourself over a game of Uno. Have fun up there, Randy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Coming up next, Hulk Hogan's going to stroll in studio here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.
The Bigger Pockets portfolio of podcasts are worthy of your investment.
Short-term rental, once you purchase the property, you're now in hospitality.
New episodes available every day.
I often tell people the easier it is to find a deal, the less likely that deal is actually a deal.
Bigger Pockets, On the Market, Rookie Real Estate, or Money Podcast.
There's one sad-looking house that's still for sale with very bad pictures in a suboptimal location.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast, on YouTube or wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, welcome back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We're waiting for the immortal Hulk Hogan to arrive. C. Willie Miles is in studio with us. Sounds like the Hulkster is running late. Running a little bit late, which that sucks, but we've got a half hour left in the show. Josh, there are some listeners who are claiming that your mother is keeping Hulk occupied.
That's wildly
at
inappropriate.
This moment, and that's why he's running late.
And running wild.
Oh. Are you saying he's running wild on my mom? You can always tell when you have a big star for when the brother and sisterhood show up. They just show up, and there's a bunch of people waiting out front.
You're telling me there are people in our parking lot There are Hulkamaniacs in our parking lot.
Running wild in the parking lot.
Waiting for the man.
Yeah, they've got Hulkamania.
Can Dana run out there with a telephone? And
I think he's on his way out if he's not out there already. Is he on the phone, Wapple?
Yeah, he's on the phone right now.
Hi, Dana.
Hey, Dana.
Hi, Dana.
He's playing hard to get.
All right.
Well.
He's not on the phone right now. We'll see if he can.
Oh, there you are.
What service does he have?
I don't know, but I think.
Sorry, I was hearing the two speakers, one from you guys in my ear, and then also the audio that's playing.
We don't need to hear your problems. Are you in the parking lot?
I am, yes.
How many people are out there?
About 10 or 12 people.
Do they look crazy? See, now they're shouting. They're shouting Hulk Hogan slogans in the background.
Yes.
What is
Well,
all this
NWO
noise being
shirts.
made? Who is this? Who was that?
Would you like to talk to one of the people out here?
Well, hold on. Real quick. So he obviously hasn't shown up. Hulk Hogan is not there yet.
No, we're still waiting on the Hulkster. Said traffic is bad. He's a few minutes away still.
All right, but there are some folks out there waiting to get an autograph or something like that.
Waiting to get an autograph and a picture, looks like.
Great.
Sure.
Then he's going to be even more late because these people are going to keep him in the parking lot for autographs.
It would be funny to hear you kick people out, and then we could later on say, that was all Dana. We didn't want anybody kicked out.
So there's derelicts in our parking lot.
There are, yes. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, about 8 or 9 of them.
Okay.
Well, it keeps going down. It started at 12.
Someone left.
I guess so.
Are any of them in costume or any? Did any of them show up dressed as Hogan or maybe a past rival? Any Macho Man, Randy Savage lookalikes or anything like that?
There's one NWO shirt, and there's a Rocky shirt, it looks like, and there's one man taking his shirt off right now.
Oh, no.
Oh, perfect. Well, I mean, what are we talking? Are these all adults? Any kids show up? Anything like that?
Yeah, no, all adults.
All right. Yeah, I guess pass the phone to the one who looks the least dangerous and tell them that, well, of course, tell them we'd like to speak to them on air and get their
All right,
permission.
hey, do one of you guys want to talk on air? Please don't swear. Don't swear. Hey, how you doing? We're just waiting for the Hulk Hogan. We're waiting for Hogan to show up.
Okay.
How long have you been standing out there?
We got here about 7 o'clock, man. We're big wrestling fans. We grew up with wrestling. He canceled all of his liquor store appearances, so we're just like, hey, last-ditch effort. Let's just run down by the radio station, try to catch him coming in.
Do you even know of the? Do you even know the? Okay, hang on now. Do you even know the name of the show he's about to appear on?
The Half-Ass Morning Show.
Okay, I was just
I won radio tickets on here, man.
You know what'd be really funny?
Radio tickets.
You're talking on Dana's phone right now.
Concert tickets.
Concert tickets? You're on Dana's phone right now. If you just ran across the parking lot as if you were stealing his phone, that would really make my day.
I know, man. I'm just trying. We're all here with respect. That's all we're doing, man. We're just being respectful. Yeah, I could steal his phone. He doesn't look very fast.
Wow, that was a dig.
You'll see it on Facebook Marketplace later by noon.
What's your name?
My name is James.
James, thanks for swinging by.
Yeah,
and
very kind of you.
Don't keep him out there too long. We want to talk to him.
No, at this point, we think he's just probably going to run inside and just tell us he'll try to catch us later.
That could be possible. You've never met him before?
Have once, just at a signing where he basically doesn't really look up. We just kind of roll through a line quick.
I had that experience once with Ozzy Osbourne.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I believe it. It's all about volume. Try to get him through as quick as can.
It's actually a pretty funny story. Thanks for coming, James. You can pass the phone back to Dana. And
all right, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for being kind, man. Welcome.
Well, of course. Thank you for listening. He was well aware of the show. That's pretty cool that folks would show up early to meet Hulk. A number of years ago, Ozzy Osbourne came to town, and I did a little something with him via the radio station. And part of the deal was after his concert was over, I got to bring a friend backstage for that long line of people who will get a quick autograph while Ozzy sits at a table, signing his most recent CD, that whole gimmick. And this buddy that I brought with me, just beyond dedicated to Ozzy Osbourne, loves the man. I mean, sincerely loves the man. And Ozzy that night, I've seen him very engaged at times, and I've seen him look like a zombie at times. It just depends on what he is on or not on, right?
Right.
So I put my buddy in line for the autograph signing, and I knew that my buddy, he would have to say something. Unfortunately, he made kind of a fool out of himself. Ozzy is looking straight down at the table, signing CDs and passing them to the right. Signing CDs, passing them to the right. People are saying, hi, Ozzy, this and that. He's not responding at all. My buddy took it a little too far. It came time for my friend to have his CD signed, and my friend said, Ozzy, I love you. You are my life. Ozzy slowly looked up at my friend, looked back down, signed his CD, passed it off to the right. Oh, and my pal was crushed by that. Crushed.
I've had those moments where you're so locked in on somebody you've worshipped, and you're so afraid you're going to say something like that.
Oh, and it actually comes out.
And this same friend. I can go down this route too. That same friend
was driving your van that left you in Maple Lake.
No,
okay.
No. But good guess. He did it again. He did it again at another appearance. This time we were there to see Megadeth. They were doing the same thing, sitting at a table and signing autographs.
Right.
Brought the same friend with. Now, most folks, metal fans, know that Megadeth at least used to feature a bass player who grew up right here in Minnesota, David Ellefson. Grew up down in Jackson, Minnesota. So, my friend with that knowledge goes up to the autograph table, and I don't know why the hell he said this, but my friend he's a snowmobile enthusiast, and he had to say something. So he says to David Ellefson, hey, David, when you grew up in Jackson, Minnesota, did you ever do any snowmobiling down there? Dave Ellefson picks his head up from the table, looks at my friend, and says, no. Signs his CD, passed it off to the right. So he's 0 for 2.
They look up so they know his face, so they're like, all right, if I see this guy anywhere else,
I'll avoid him. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Dope.
You're right. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
That's why Ellefson and Ozzy took a good look at him to know, if anything, if I run into him an hour from now, I'll know to get out of the way.
Yep.
Did you ever suggest, plan ahead? Maybe next time, think ahead what you're going to ask and run it by somebody. Just run it by one of us.
I warned him before the Ozzy thing. I warned him. I said, it doesn't look like he's quite there tonight. Maybe you want to he didn't take it easy.
Hilarious.
So, Josh, you think it would benefit us to take an early break here in preparation for Hulk Hogan?
What, did we give away our tickets yet?
I forgot.
Yeah, I think let's give away our Booze Cruise tickets.
And then if Hulk ain't in the room yet, we'll Booze Cruise. Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text RIVER to 651-989-9393 for a shot to win tickets to our Independence Day Booze Cruise. Again, if I didn't say it, Friday, June 28th on Stillwater Riverboats.
A week from Friday, man.
A week from Friday. Wow. Good luck. We're going to have a good time. And I think we should take a break. That way we get commercials out of the way. And if Hulk shows up, we can spend some solid time with him. So we'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Look at that! Hogan does it! Oh! The leg drop!
We're seeing what this guy is really made of. What he is. The greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this.
He's slammed it! I don't believe it! I don't believe it!
Oh, dropping a big leg. Over for the cover.
It's over!
If I could say it and be honestly, it's not a tie. Hulk Hogan will be the Babe Ruth of wrestling if he never wrestled another day. Ric Flair won't be because he's in Hulk Hogan's shadow. But what's going to go down in the record books was Hulk Hogan was the greatest.
All right, how about this here? Welcome back to the show. Sitting in studio with us right now, we've already been talking a little bit, is a straight-up icon. Our radio program loves professional wrestling. We really do. But even if we didn't, and even if we didn't follow it at all, we'd know this man. One of the most recognizable guys, no matter where you go. Hulk Hogan is here with us. Thank you very much for coming in this morning.
Well, brother, you got me all shook up, man, because I'm not used to getting a half-ass radio show in the morning. I'm used to the whole ass in the morning. So, you know what I'm saying? You guys got me off guard. It's kind of like eating a half a donut or drinking a half a cup of coffee. But I'm on the team, man. Thank you guys for having me.
I didn't know you were going to Hulk up on us right away.
I'm too close over here.
I'm trying to wake you guys up.
I love it.
It worked.
We do. We love it, and it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Man, I love the Twin Cities. It is great to be back here, man. When I hit town yesterday, I started thinking about the gym I trained at, the Olympia Gym on Lindell, and the old apartments we just talked about, the Versailles and Bloomington. I remember Garcia's, Boyd's on the River. I could go on and on. Live Asian Station, Caboose. I love this town.
We love having you.
Absolutely. I got to say, it was really cool off air, just to kind of fill people in. You were telling us about all the old haunts, all the places you'd run around, and all these different places in the Twin Cities that you love. And obviously seemed to really enjoy your time here when you lived here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man, because I had just done the Rocky movie,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I had just gotten fired from the WWE.
Because of that movie, right?
Because of the movie, and they said I never worked there again, so I was actually living in Japan pretty much full-time and wrestling over there. And I got a call from Vern Gagne, who saw the promotional pictures. And I said, okay, well, I'll come by. And he goes, well, on the way here, we're going to be, I think it was the Donahue show in Chicago. And I actually, driving up, I stopped in Chicago and did the Donahue show with the AWA guys. Had no idea who any of these guys were.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up moving to the Twin Cities, falling in love with this place, and actually never wanted to leave. I really didn't want to leave here. It was so great living here.
Well, it was a blast. I mean, there's a few of us who are old enough to have watched you in those days on the AWA. Who were some of your running partners back in those days?
Well, one of the
did you and Mean Gene become pretty tight right away?
That's kind of funny because Mean Gene and I just hit it off. We clicked. We were friends until the end. And the funny thing was that apartment we talked about over at the Versailles Apartments. Me and Gene, and he was married, to Jeannie, and his kids played hockey, had kids and stuff. And he came over to my house one night, and we partied, and he never left. He took the other bedroom. He actually lived with me for like 4 years. I said, Gene, aren't you ever going home, brother? And me and Gene was all about the party. We had a blast. And then when I had to leave here and I went back to New York, I took me and Gene with me and Bobby Heenan and a lot of the guys.
Christ. I mean, now that we're talking about this, of all the incredible moments you've had in your wrestling career, WrestleMania 3, we could talk about it all day long. One of the most special things was when you paid tribute to Mean Gene after his passing. I watched that in the ring, and I thought that was just wonderful what you put together that night, Hulk, for your friend, and such a beloved guy around here.
Well, it's really, that was a really tough one because, in our business, if you look at all the baseball, football, hockey players, I'm just throwing this out there. Over a 20-year period, there may have been 10 or 15 guys that have died in each sport.
Right.
Who knows what the numbers are?
Right.
But in wrestling, there's a couple hundred.
It's a shame.
And a lot of the guys here from Robbinsdale, a lot of my friends, Hawk, Animal, Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, all the really great wrestlers that came from Minnesota have passed. So the Mean Gene thing was tough because I'd just been down to Sarasota and I just had dinner with him, and he was coming back to the Twin Cities for Christmas to be with the family and friends. And so New Year's Eve, I called him and said, hey, brother. But he texted me and says, hey, I'll be back in town. I'll give you a growl when I get back. I said, okay. So I happened to call him before we were going out. I was down in Miami. And he goes, I'm coming back January 3rd. I said, okay. So I came in New Year's Eve probably about 5 in the morning, right? All of a sudden, my phone rings at 7. And it was a 203 number. And whenever you see a 203 number, it's like red light alert. That's Connecticut. You know what I mean?
All right.
WWE, if they're calling me, they want something.
The bosses.
Right? And it could be good, it could be bad, it could be hard, it could be easy. But there's a plan. It's a business thing. And all of a sudden, the producer, Kevin Dunn, was on the phone. And he goes, gosh, I hate to tell you this. And you got to realize, I got a buzz on. I've only laid down for like 2 hours.
Sure. He
goes, we lost another good one. Mean Gene just died. And I howled like a wounded animal. I have never had that sound come out of my body. It hit me so hard. It took me days to get over this, especially, that we had just talked before I went out that night.
Of course.
And so, for him to pass, and he was such a close friend, that one hit me really hard.
Well, you presented it and handled it perfectly in the ring, and it was a great tribute.
Yeah,
it was a great tribute.
Tough, but he was a great friend, a great man, and what a talent he was. He was just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, I mean, go on YouTube and watch the best or worst of Gene Okerlund's promos. I mean, it's a riot. It's a riot. The ones that went well and the ones that,
No, you need to go on YouTube and watch me tag team with me and Gene at the Met Center when we wrestled George Animal Steel and Mr. Fuji. That was classic. He tore the place down. He was awesome.
That's too good. All right. We know you're in town to celebrate your new beer. Tell us about the Real American Beer.
Well, it's a situation where I saw this crazy opportunity. And, I really never thought about endorsing an alcohol product because over the years it was the training prayers and vitamins. And,
right.
That was the main theme to let the kids know and let the people know what the character was all about. And the character actually made Terry, the man, a much better person as the years went by. The character was impeccable. So anyway, I was at a convention signing autographs, and I always like to take time and look at people in the eye and read their name tag and say, "Oh, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being a fan. 40 years, where'd you grow up at?" And I kind of like to get to know people when I talk to them a little bit. And I read this guy's name tag, Vice President of Pabst Blue Ribbon. And the first thing I said was, "Oh, my gosh, my dad drank that beer."
Right.
And the gentleman said, "Well, have you ever thought about endorsing an alcohol product?" I said, "No, but since I saw this situation, because I'm a marketing guy and that's what I do a lot of is marketing, merchandise, licensing, ancillary stuff. And I saw this situation with Bud Light where they had this marketing strategy that completely crashed and burned. And it almost destroyed the whole company. I haven't ever seen anything quite like that in recent years. And it really made the light go off in my head. And I said, you know what? I do have an idea for a beer. But this idea is so big, it's bigger than politics even. I mean, it's because the Democrats and Republicans, they don't talk.
No.
They don't get along. They don't communicate. So the idea I had was even bigger than politics. And I said, this is a beer that it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, what your race, color, creed is, what your sexual preference is. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. This is a beer that'll bring America back together one beer at a time.
It's a cool idea.
Hogan's Real American Beer. It's like the beer that America's been waiting for, simply because, in the wrestling business, if you get in a little tussle in the ring, you don't get along, sometimes you go back out there and settle it. But I would much rather sit down with my brother here who were having a problem, and I may have accidentally knocked your teeth out. I'd rather drink a beer with you and talk about that I made a mistake than go out and fight again. So that's kind of like where the idea came from. But as soon as I threw the idea out there of bringing America back together one beer at a time, because we are more alike than we are different, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And the way everything's so diversive and everybody's torn apart, the idea just resonated, bringing the country back together. And everybody's jumped on the bandwagon. We haven't heard a no from anybody. Everybody that's tried the beer goes, "Oh my gosh, the beer's unbelievable." And I just really feel, that this resonates with America, and it's something everybody's going to warm up to.
Everyone sat around and tried to solve some problems over some beers.
Yeah,
there you go. That's
absolutely. It really is. I mean, it's just beers sometimes are a good a good setting to settle an argument or a difference. We can find it here in town shortly. I hope.
It's going to be everywhere. It'll be at most of them. Chad, my partner, where's it going to be at in the Twin Cities, brother? Is it
Chad?
That's my partner, Chad.
Hi, Chad.
He's running with.
I think we woke you up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah. So, I mean, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, Albertsons, Kroger's, Flying Eagle. I don't know if you guys have 7-Elevens up here.
I have 1 or 2 left. I'm not sure.
Not many left.
At Hooters is going to be all the Hooters.
Ooh.
We have a Hooters still.
We've got that.
At the Mall of America.
All the military bases.
Okay.
Everybody's warmed up.
We'll be looking for it.
Yeah,
Real
it's a great
American
message.
beer.
I was going to mention, I really like what you said about how, we're more alike than we think. Right, and you just need a reminder. That people need to remember that. I think. That's a great message.
Well, even the Republicans and Democrats that just fight so much. That's why I said this is bigger than them. We need to get these guys talking, because once they talk, we all want the same thing. We want peace. We want safety. We want God in our country and in our schools. And at the end of the day, we don't want to get killed at the gas pump or the grocery store. We want borders that are controlled at least. So I think we all want the same thing, basically.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
It's a good reminder that some people need to hear, right? You could totally, like you and I could totally disagree on stuff, but still be buddies. We could still sit around and have one of your beers.
And I'm sure we do disagree on a lot of things, and we could probably be great friends if we hung out.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
It's just, that's where we're coming from, bro, and everybody loves the idea.
Hulk Hogan's in studio at the Half-Ass Morning Show. I got to tell you, you look like $1 million.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm 70 years old.
Yeah.
And, I've been run through the gambit a little bit. My body, I tortured my body a little too much, and so I was doing really great. But after the 10th back surgery, I lost a little bit of a spring in my step. But mentally, I'm running hard. I got a beautiful young lady that just married me, and everything's great, brother.
Well, that's great to hear because, you know how the internet and social media works. There were rumors not that long ago that you were on your way out.
Well, you know what? Every 4 or 5 months, they always say Hulk Hogan's dead. And I get all these calls from everybody. Okay. And what really made me realize that the press and a lot of stuff sometimes doesn't tell it straight is I was in a grocery store, and as you push the cart up and down the aisles, as the checkout counters, you see all the tabloids, right? So I was pushing the cart, and I looked at one of the tabloids as I was making the turn and said, Hulk Hogan has major stroke. I was like,
I did?
Yeah, I had no idea, but
You're
that
checking
was the news.
yourself.
That could be the first symptom. You don't realize you have it.
Yeah, right.
Man.
I read that. I almost did have a stroke.
I don't know if you have any interest in this, but I miss your reality show. Do you have any interest in doing another one? I loved it.
How did you like that experience? Hogan knows best.
You know, it was kind of cool at first, and I took a vote, of course. I was sitting around with my family. And I said, okay, who wants to be on TV and do the show? Everybody raised their hand, yes. I said, well, here's the deal. Just like you guys seen me at restaurants and outside the radio station, everywhere, the fans are always there, and there's really no privacy unless you're in the house. That's going to happen to all you guys. We want to do it. It worked out for a while, and then one person got really drunk with power and didn't want to work, didn't want to come downstairs. Made it tough the last year filming. But I've been approached by a lot of networks because I married Sky.
Hello, Sky.
Hello.
Yes, welcome
to town.
And she's got 3 children that as soon as I fell in love with them, it was a wrap. It was over. You know, I had to have her and the kids, you know. So I've been approached by a lot of networks about doing another reality show with Sky and her family.
Okay.
And she's got a huge family, huge family, sisters and all kind of people in the family that are around. We all live in the same area, Clearwater, Florida. But I just can't do that at this point. I can't put a camera on a 9-year-old little girl and say, okay, keep the camera on from 8 in the morning till midnight. It's just not there for me right
I
now.
get that, absolutely. Yeah. You know, speaking of wild rumors, there were also rumors going around that you were looking for one last match.
Yeah, I was.
You were?
I really, really was. I actually, after WrestleMania 30, I shook hands with Vince McMahon, and I said, next year is pretty much going to be it for me, and I want to have one last retirement match at WrestleMania. We shook hands, and halfway through the year, my back, because I still lift weights every day.
Obviously, yes.
And so
my damn.
That is obvious.
Yeah, my back went out on me really bad. And, you know, after back surgery number 6, they told me I'd never walk again. So I was down for quite a while. And then I had surgery number 7, number 8, number 9. And then after I shook hands with Vince, all of a sudden back surgery number 10 kind of like did me in as far as the wrestling. So that's not an option anymore. But I wanted to have that one last match.
We would have loved to have seen it.
That would have been a lot of fun.
Did you have an opponent in mind?
Well, at that time, I wanted to wrestle Cena. I wanted to wrestle Cena because he was red hot at the time.
Sure.
That'd be great.
And I was supposed to wrestle him at WrestleMania 25 in Orlando, but my back went out then, too. I was actually on the phone, and Vince and I were talking about doing the pre-tapes and doing all the Monday Night Raws and the build-up because we would always work backwards. And as I'm talking to Vince on the phone about, well, I'll be there Monday, I was like, oh my God, my back's out. While I was on the phone, my darn back went out.
God dang.
So, yeah, I was trying to get Cena in my sights, you know, but it never happened.
I don't know if you spotted this, but while you were talking about John Cena, C. Willie Miles over here did the "You Can't See Me."
That was awesome.
Were you snitching now? I did it behind his back.
I don't want any trouble.
And how did you see that?
Yeah.
Well, he could get a body slam like Cena.
No. You know, I don't want none of that smoke.
So, as you saw, Hulk, when you walked in, there's a bunch of fans were waiting for you. You're going to be around town. Can people come see you anywhere today? Or
we're going to be running all over the place. We're going to the Mall of America and going to sneak around and see a bunch of friends and fans. And we're just bouncing all over the place today. We're going to sneak up on everybody in the Twin Cities when they're not ready for us.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, obviously, people are excited. That's great.
Man, I'm excited to be here.
And, you know, with the people that came out to the parking lot to see you, I mean, by the way, did anyone get a look at his watch? Jesus, balls. Look at that. I'm telling you, we had Flair in here a few months ago. I don't even think his watch was that fancy. Was there ever a point where Hulkamania was running so wild that you had to step back and say, man, I don't know if I can handle this? I mean, because in the 80s, it was beyond rock star stuff.
Yeah, it really got
scared you a little bit, maybe?
It got to a point where I couldn't even catch a breath. I mean, when I was the world's heavyweight champion, you need to realize Flair was down in that old Southern Belt wrestling area, you know, doing Charlotte and their Carolinas and doing that thing. So I never saw Flair until pretty much the end of my career. But then when we did hook up, we drew a bunch of money. But, you know, if you really think about it, the first 20 years, it was just me.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no Rock. There was no Stone Cold.
Nope.
There were no other attractions. I was the only attraction. So I was wrestling like 400, 425 days a year. I was wrestling twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. I'd hit the Philadelphia Spectrum at 1 o'clock, sold out. Then I'd go to Madison Square Garden that night, sold out.
Mhm.
The next day I'd hit Boston Garden at 1 o'clock, sold out. And I'd be in the LA Forum that night. So I beat myself up pretty bad. But the point I'm getting to is the wrestling schedule was so heavy because I was the only guy. I was also doing a reality TV show. I was also doing movies, too, at the time. So I did like 17 low-budget movies.
We remember some of them, sure.
Definitely.
I'm trying to forget.
They were Oscar-worthy.
But they generated a ton of money, on the backside because I made them for $3-4 million a piece. But, yeah, there was a point where I was a little bit overwhelmed.
Exhausted.
And I was trying to juggle family and business, movies, TVs.
Yeah.
It just got to the point where it was insanity.
You wear it well after all these years.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, you wear it well. So wrestling, wrestling, music, movies, television, beer, food, radio. What's left for you to put your mark on, if anything? I guess what I'm asking you is, what you going to do?
What's
left for you? What you going to do?
That's a really good question because I've been asking that question for 40 years and nobody will give me an answer. What you going to do, brother? Okay, I throw it out there and there's never an answer. Things have lined up so perfectly, here with my life, and being on the right path spiritually, and one with my Lord and Savior, that at the end of the day, I realized that wrestling career was just a setup. It was just a setup for where I'm going next. So I think right now what's so important is, being honest, being straight with my family and friends and the public, and basically being a vessel to pass along nothing but positive stuff and positive vibes.
You've certainly been passing those on to us today. This has been great.
Oh, man, well, you guys are awesome. I mean, things actually are going so well. It's really, really cool. And the energy that I'm getting from people, you can feel when somebody walks in a room that's negative or, a hater or something like that. I've been around nothing but so many positive things, as of late.
That's great.
And I hate to throw it really on somebody too heavy, but it's got to do with her. Once I met her, my whole life changed.
Mm-hmm.
So things straightened out right away. And I hate to be this mushy, weird, kind of sissy guy, but, once I found the right partner that was a believer, then my whole life got correct.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, we can understand.
Absolutely.
What time you want to come in tomorrow?
I'll be here whenever you want me. We need to talk about my check, though. You know what I'm saying? This ain't going to be the half-ass show anymore. This is going to be the whole-ass show.
Or are you going to wipe us out to we're only a quarter-ass?
I don't know. Easy, brother. Easy.
I don't know. No, this has been an absolute pleasure. We'll look for Real American Beer. We appreciate your visit so much, Hulk Hogan. It's been an absolute thrill.
Well, I have to do one thing if that's cool.
Absolutely.
Can I yell and scream like an idiot?
Dude,
please.
It wakes me up.
Let her buck.
Are you guys ready?
Ran out the top rope, brother.
Yeah.
Okay. You know something, maniacs? Hulk Hogan, the greatest hero of all time, here on 93X, the half-ass radio show. You know something? I got a ton of friends in the Twin City, and I brought my Real American Beer here so that everybody could try it. You know something? I don't know what to say, but once you get hooked on Real American Beer, you're going to hook more Real Americans on it. So what you going to do when the half-ass radio show, Real American Beer, and all my maniacs in the Twin Cities run wild on you? What you going to do, brother?
Dude, best ending.
Drink some beer.
Oh,
We've been on, this show's been on the air for 27 or 8 years. That's the best way to close we've ever had, right there.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Hulk Hogan.
Thanks for having me,
You
guys.
bet.
93X. The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.